It's a rare Thursday night game at TD Waterhouse Stadium. Tonight is the Western Mustangs coming off a loss to McMaster. Welcome the Laurier Golden Hawks to town. 2 4-1 teams, both ranked in the CIS top 10. And it's a bit of a homecoming of sorts for Michael Falds, former Mustangs quarterback, now the head coach of the Laurier Golden Hawks, and has this team looking bright once again. Alongside Nigel Wilson, my name is Christian O'Mell. This Western Mustang squad is a bit banged up today, Nigel, and they'll have to deal with the best running back in the country.
It will be a big challenge for the Western Mustang defense, as you indicated, they are up against an excellent running back, and being banged up in the middle of the season is probably part of football, and so we'll have to see how the Mustangs respond to that.
Dylan Campbell is 58 yards shy of breaking Laurier's single-season rushing record, and we still got 3 games to go, so he's going to break that with no problem. He's got over 1,000 yards rushing and is #1 in the CIS by 370 yards. Huge margin in that regard. Big note today, Will Finch not starting for the Western Mustangs. Stevenson Bone will be in. Bone has been good in mop-up duty so far this season, but today is his first start in his CIS career.
Well, it should be a very exciting time for young Stevenson Bone. He does step up to the plate today, and he will be leading the offense, and I'm pretty sure that he will, perform well and carry the team, and it'll be exciting to watch.
This Western Mustangs team is missing some key parts that we're used to seeing in the lineup. Matt Uren is out, as is David Mackey. We got the weather tonight. It's going to be a crisp, cool evening, but it's going to be clear.
Oh, the weather should be fantastic for football tonight, Christian, with that. It's clear. There's no real wind yet in terms of down on the field, and it's perfect playing condition for the players. So I think we're in for an exciting time. And as you open the show with, making comments about Dylan Campbell, he's had a huge success this year, and certainly a lot of that can be attributed to the work up front done by his offensive line, who have really opened up some holes. So credit to both Michael Falls and the offensive line there for putting up that kind of yardage.
The key to Western's lineup, their O and D lines, they're still intact. And that will be huge today as they try to stop one of the top rushing attacks in the country. We now go to John Urban down on the sideline. John.
Thanks again, Christian. 2 storylines coming into this Thursday night football contest. One is injuries and the other is records. You both touched on those subjects, Christian. Injuries have definitely plagued the Western Mustangs. Will Finch is not in the game. Neither is slot back Matt Uren, free safety, and Jesse McNair. And as we know from Waterloo, J.G. Poulon with his elbow is still not available. Records, though, I wanted to talk about this real briefly. At homecoming, it was punter Eric Gazadem for Toronto hitting a 104-yard punt to set a CIS record. Last broadcast, it was Tyler Crapena, the kicker for McMaster, hitting his 77th career field goal to set his own record. And you mentioned it earlier, Christian, 58 yards away is Laurier's running back, Dylan Campbell, from setting the Laurier Football Program single-season rushing record. Guys?
Should have no problem doing that today. He's averaging 200 yards a game rushing, which is astonishing.
Well, I'm sure the Western Mustangs are going to put up a huge challenge for him there.
Now go to PA announcer Chris Lyons.
Monday, October 6, 2014, a great member of the Mustang football family, Clayton Warner, passed away. Clay was the team's equipment manager for 36 years. He was truly one of a kind and will be sorely missed.
It's payback time. Does that bother you? Does that bother you? Does that bother you? Does that bother you? Does that bother you?
It's not so fun when you're the target of rude behavior. College athletics has many traditions, but bad sportsmanship isn't one of them. Respect. It's the name of the game.
Lone Star believes that smoked ain't a flavor you add. It's a flavor you earn. That's why Lone Star trucks mesquite all the way from the great state of Texas to fire their grill. Brings a taste of chicken and steak you just can't fake with a shaker. So if that much attention goes into firing their grill, imagine what goes into the pico, the tortilla, and the rest of the fajita. Lone Star, the taste is in the details.
Welcome back to TD Waterhouse Stadium. We see the coin toss down on the field today. Wind, like you said, Nigel, probably not going to be a factor here, so picking ends, not really a big deal right now. Having some issues with the ref's mic, but looks like the decision has been made, and Laurier will kick off to Western. No, sorry, other way around. Laurier will receive to start the game.
Christian, I was watching the referee. I think what happened was that Western won the toss, deferred, and that was the result of the coin toss there. So,
so we're going to see Laurier's offensive attack first today here on Mustangs TV. Laurier is now in the CIS top 10. They've managed to take the 10th spot. The last time these two teams met, when they were both ranked in the top 10, well, that was a bit of a thrashing. It was in 2010, and Western won 46-1. Laurier hoping that today is not a repeat of that match.
Well, we'll see what happens on the kickoff, as the intensity of the game usually is determined a lot by the special teams play, and it'll be interesting to see how Western starts this off, coming from a loss last week. We mentioned earlier in the broadcast about the injuries, etc. One injury that was not mentioned was the injury to David Mackey, the long snapper for Western, who was gone right after the opening kickoff, and you know, he was a big part of the punting and the field goal team, so his presence will be sorely missed too.
Absolutely. Zach Medeiros ready to kick off. Carson Ouellette for the Laurier Golden Hawks averages about 25 yards per kick return. His longest on the season is 36 yards. He's one of the men back. And he'll catch it at the 6. All they do with the lateral there. And now getting a chance to cut up field, and a good looking return. A nice return to the 35-yard line. And a bit of an interesting play on special teams to start this game, as Scott Campbell caught the reverse there from Ouellette, and they get it up to the 35.
They did set up the reverse well, but actually I thought initially Western had covered it really well. They had 3 men were in the area for the reverse, and it was just a great run by that young man to beat it because the coverage was there.
Yeah, it looked like they had him, but he ends up getting a decent return there, and Laurier will start this drive from their own 35. Backfield, James Fracas is the quarterback. Does not throw a whole lot. Last week, 13 of 24 for only 95 yards and an interception in a narrow win over York. But he'll throw here, or maybe he'll just scramble. He looks, he gets it downfield, and it's intercepted on the first pass of the game. What a start here for the Western defense, as coming up with a big play there was Josh Woodman, his 4th pick of the year.
Well, they pulled the offensive lineman as if they were going to run a sweep to the left, to the wide side of the field, and the quarterback sort of kept the ball instead of giving it to Campbell and went out to the short side and actually forced that pass where it probably should not have gone into the inside, and looked like he threw across his body as well, so not a great start.
Very first play for Laurier is an interception, and now Stevenson Bone will start under center. He'll throw the ball. He'll air it out deep, and he's got a man. He had a step, but just overthrowing his man. George Johnson behind coverage, but just couldn't quite connect there.
Right. Good opening play. Shows you that Stevenson Bone has the arm to throw the ball deep. Perhaps a little bit more air to give the receiver a chance to get underneath it. George did break into the open, but it just overthrew him a bit.
Second down and 10. Stevenson Bone coming into this game completed 17 of 21 of his passes. 81% completion rating, but a very small sample size. Bone will keep it. He puts it on the ground, though. Lose 3 yards. Good job getting back on that, as they didn't quite get that one in sync.
No, they didn't, and a little bit perhaps of nervousness there with the ball handling, as he was not successful with that handoff, and the ball landed on the ground.
We talked before the game about the importance of this starting offensive line for Western. They have one of the best rushing attacks. In fact, they have the most rushing yards per game out of any team in the country, and it starts with those 5 men.
It does, and they're going to have to, do what they've done all season, and that is protect the quarterback and also open up some holes.
Medeiros bobbles the snap a bit on the kick, angles it towards the sideline, and Ouellette fields it at the 5. Ouellette tries to find a way out. He squirms his way up to the 19 before he's brought down. And a decent return getting out of his own end zone there.
Well, there you see right away an indication of, how important the kicking game is and all aspects of the kicking game, because the snap bounced on the ground a bit going back to Medeiros. So right away you see the impact of injuries impacting this football game.
So Laurier gets a mulligan now. They don't pay for their initial turnover. Fracas with 2 men in the backfield. We expect to get a heavy dose of Dylan Campbell today, 4th-year student out of Whitby. Fracas, he'll give it to Campbell, and Campbell gets really nowhere. Might have got a yard there, but the line was ready for him.
Absolutely, and he ran right into the arms of Durrawad, number 99. So the front 4 of Western are going to be challenged today against that offensive line, and there they stood them up, and Western's defensive line won that battle easily.
Gain of just 1. Last week we saw a number of times where they stopped Mac's offense deep in their own end. They conceded safeties on multiple occasions. They stacked the line. They are about to bring everybody here. There's nobody about 4 yards behind the line of scrimmage for Western. They're going to bring the house, and they're going to throw it. Fracas deep. He's got a man wide open, and it's Campbell. Dylan Campbell all the way down to Western's 39 as the blitz did not work for Western.
Well, it was picked up well by Laurier, and perhaps disappointingly in the secondary, Campbell did get behind the coverage man, and the quarterback threw a great ball up in the air and came underneath it well, and so excellent play by Laurier.
Gain of 51 on the play. Big chunk to get into Western's end, and they've got one of the better kickers in Canada. They're just about in field goal range right now. It's Ronnie Pfeffer's long this year was 50. Campbell gets the handoff, bounces off a tackle, and he's brought back down in the backfield. And that is a big play from Ryan Northfield.
Excellent play again by the defensive line. He initially tried to hit it up inside and was bounced outside, and when he bounced outside, Ryan Northfield was sitting there waiting and made a great tackle. So the defensive line doing their job.
So far 2 carries for 1 yard for Dylan Campbell, but a huge reception to get them to where they are right now. They're going to throw it again. Fracas looks to the outside. He's got a man trying to dodge to the first down. He may have gotten there. And that's Marcus Arkarakis getting close to the marker. Depends on the spot. It looks like they might be giving him enough. They're going to call 3rd down, and it's 3rd and must be just 2 inches here. They're going to definitely go for this one. Early in the game, trying to make a statement. Fracas goes under center. They're going for the QB sneak. They will, and he'll get over the top. He'll get enough yards for sure for the first down.
It'll still be close. I think he did get the first down. The initial surge didn't do much, and he was stopped initially, but
Has enough for the first down.
he sort of regathered his feet and came back and got the first down. So good effort there by James Fracas.
Take a look at the starting offensive line, and this is the group of men that have really allowed Dylan Campbell to explode so far this season.
Right, and it's a great test, you know, their offensive line against a great defensive line as well.
Western has the best rush defense in Ontario. Well, it's a great battle. The unstoppable force against the immovable object. First down and 10. He'll hand it off to Campbell, and Campbell again has nowhere to go. There's a group of Mustangs there. Osikusi's there.
Osikusi with the tackle.
And Malcolm Brown helping out as well. They're getting nowhere with the running game so far.
No, they didn't have success there, and Ricky Osikusi had a great game against Mac, continues from his end position, doing a great job, and he had great support on that play too by Jeff Brooks.
You see the group of men there. Dylan Campbell leading the way. He has 1,021 rushing yards coming into this game. No other running back on Laurier has more than 77 yards rushing this year. That's how much he has dominated the ball. Fracas alone in the backfield, scrambles, tries to find a way out. He will, and he's going to run. There's a penalty flag down. Fracas is pushed out around the 22. The flag is in the area of offensive holding.
You're right, Christian. Yeah, Rupert Butcher had great pressure up the field, and when the quarterback scrambled out, he could not disengage from the offensive lineman because he was, you know, grabbing onto his shirt. And I think they ended up calling Tommy Griffiths, the left guard there, number 54.
There's James Fracas on the year, 9 touchdowns. Has about the same completion percentage as Will Finch, but he throws it a lot less. You can see he's got about 400 yards less on the season than Will Finch, who, again, not playing tonight. Stevenson Bone in, starting in place. The reason he doesn't throw as much is because they've got the beast Dylan Campbell in the backfield. And you need to throw it just enough to get openings for the running back so they can respect the pass. He's done that so far this season. 2nd and 22 from Western's 39-yard line. Need to pick up some yards, maybe not the first down, but enough to make the field goal more comfortable. They run the draw play. Campbell's got a lot of space. Campbell gets all the way to the 27, which is about the initial line of scrimmage before the penalty, and they will have to go for the field goal.
Well, Christian, they did have to think about just getting enough yards, as you mentioned, to try to make sure they get a field goal out of this. So you would think that defensively you'd be thinking that's either going to be screen or draw, and we had pretty good pressure by the front four, Western did. The linebackers were a little bit deep and took them a while to react to that draw.
Ronnie Pfeffer on the season, 15 of 17, 88% on field goals, as long as 50. One of the stronger kickers in the country. This from 35 yards. Bit of a wobbler, and it is wide. A surprising miss there. And a good run back here. A nice run back. Still going is Brown, and he's tripped up at the 40. Malcolm Brown could taste it there, but a shoestring tackle. Still a nice return back to the 40.
Right. we saw the kick sail to the left a little wide. Malcolm Brown made the decision to bring it out. Just missed a tackler right at the goal line, and then with some nifty running, great return, puts Western in pretty good field position, and still no points on the board.
They dodge one there. 8:52 to go here in the first quarter. Teams are scoreless as there's a man down at the W, the midfield stripe.
That's number 91, Asante Mizan, defensive tackle for Laurier.
And we will be back with more action here from TD Waterhouse Stadium in just a bit on Mustangs TV.
driving to Golden Hawk Lake. Is this the new Toyota Highlander? Yep. Must feel like your own little world in here. I guess. Does this world of yours have a name?
No.
Ever look at the stars through your moonroof?
I have.
Ever wish upon them?
No.
Backup camera, like having eyes in the back of your head?
A little.
One or two eyes? It has a V6 engine, right?
Yes, sir.
Is it powerful?
Definitely.
Do you think I'm powerful?
Possibly.
The all-new Toyota Highlander. One look, and you'll want to know more.
The road trip. It's freedom. It's exploration. It's about new experiences. And this road trip has been brought to you by Pioneer Bonus Bucks.
First down for the Mustangs. It's a run. And Garrett Sanvito gets about 9, maybe up to the first down marker there, but at least 9 there for Garrett Sanvito on first down.
It was a very good run by Garrett Sanvito, took the handoff from Bone, made a great move to miss one of the tacklers and gained 8 yards off the right side into the short side of the field.
Garrett Sanvito, one of the many Western Mustangs that have done a very nice job running this season. 5th in the nation in yards per carry, averaging just about 7.5 yards every time he touches the ball. Oh, we got a little bit of a shoving match there in the pile.
Well, that's not something you want to see. Players should step away from that. They don't want to be ejected from the game. So Stevenson Bowen on that last play took the second and short yardage and was successful in moving the ball and moving the chains.
Picked up 3 yards, which is plenty for the first down. Break the huddle, and now we'll try to lead the Mustangs down the field here. Hands it off again at Sanvito again, and Sanvito follows his blocker. Sanvito gets a break, and Garrett Sanvito's all the way down to the Laurier 30.
Great blocking up front from Matt Van Prate at center. Garrett Sanvito just comes off the block and gets right down the middle of the field, and it was a touchdown saving tackle there that brought him down.
28-yard gain on a 1st and 10 run. This handoff goes to Yannick Haru, and Haru runs strong down to the 16. And right now the Mustangs are doing it all on the ground, as they have been known to do.
Well, they're establishing a tempo that they definitely want to make this a more physical game, I think, than they played last Saturday. And here they are, moving that Laurier defense backwards.
I mentioned Sanvito's number 5 in the country in yards per carry. Well, Yannick Haru's number 4 in the country in yards per carry. This one goes to Tom Marshall, and he runs up the middle to get about 6.
Good run by Tom. Quick opener over the left side of the field, and nice tackle there. I believe that was number 40, Brandon Calver, a London grad from Lucas, making a good tackle.
So the Mustangs into the red zone. For the season, they have scored 27 times out of 30 red zone trips, including 20 touchdowns. This handoff goes to Haru. Haru to the outside, and Yannick Haru gets the Mustangs on the board first.
Well, good job there by the right guard for Western, Sean Jamieson. He just pulled out, led the running back around the left side, and Yannick just followed him and after the block, found an easy way into the end zone.
Once that initial block was made, there was no trouble for Haru to break pay dirt and get 6 points for the Mustangs here, about halfway through this first quarter of action.
Well, I know the offensive lineman will be pleased. That usually settles you down a bit when you start to run the ball and get some hits underneath you, and it'll be interesting to see if they continue to keep it on the ground and show Laurier what Laurier's been doing to everyone all season.
Medeiros extra point, hasn't missed one all season. That one's plenty good. Take another look at the touchdown run now from Yannick Haru. There's the good initial block there, and he had another one there if he needed it. Another blocker up ahead.
No, well-blocked play by the offensive line, and Yannick just followed his blocks in, and Western now is up 7-0.
They did not have to throw the ball once on that drive. Drove it down the field. all on the ground. A 61-yard touchdown drive. And now Laurier will try to answer. They've had one big play tonight, but other than that, it's been a lot of runs for no gain and a holding penalty, which cost them a first down deep in Mustangs territory.
What really hurt them was that missed field goal, not getting those points on the board after you get a big play and then come away with no points.
And then Western comes down and gets a touchdown. Starting from the 1, getting really nowhere, down to the 14. And it's going to be a tough, long field to go. Marcus Arkarakis didn't really do a whole lot for them there. As the coverage downfield again, very good by the Mustangs kick team.
Great coverage there by number 34, Alex May. He closed in on the ball, made a good hit, and I actually thought he had a chance of popping the ball because the runner was going to his right, the ball was in his left arm, and Alex had a good shot on the football.
Coming into tonight, Arkarakis averaged about 33 yards a return. That one was only 14 yards. Frakis, empty backfield. Nope, Campbell's going to come back. Got to do something differently because the straight runs are not working right now. Frakis to pass. Wad in his face, and he completely altered that one. Wad was all over him.
What a great rush there by Darryl Wad. He beat the offensive lineman right at the line of scrimmage, and then they're just trying to dump the ball over the offensive line, and Darryl Wad was all over Frakis.
Got a piece of that throw, and now it's going to be second down and 10 from their own 15. Again, uncomfortably close to their own end zone right now. This is where they got the big play to Campbell last time. Down the field. Frakis with Campbell behind him. He's got 5 receivers. Frakis back to throw. He's got pressure on him again. Airs it out, and it is almost caught there. Ooh, a close call. Scott Campbell and John Urban, has an update.
Thanks again, Christian. I just thought I'd give you an update. 5 days has passed since Western's first loss of the season to the McMaster Marauders, and you can already tell defensively and offensively they're fired up. They hadn't lost here at TD Waterhouse Stadium since September 29th, 2012. That was also against the McMaster Marauders, of all people. So let's hope the fire that has been lit, so to speak, continues throughout the rest of this game. Guys?
Thanks, John. That was a close play there. Scott Campbell laid out. Again, they're going for the deep ball. That one didn't quite connect, but the ball was close there. It was on his hands. And like we saw 3 times against McMaster, Laurier will concede a safety in their own end zone, which makes it 9-0 for the Western Mustangs.
Well, it was a good throw by James Frakis on that second down, down the short side of the field, hitting the wide receiver. There was good coverage, but the ball was put in a chance for the receiver to make the catch. It would have been a very tough catch, but again, Frakis did not have a lot of time to throw the football as the front 4 of Western are putting pressure on the quarterback.
It almost looked like his feet weren't entirely set when he threw that ball.
You're right, Christian. They weren't. It shows you the strength of his arm because he was really able to get a lot on that football.
Western will take over at their own 35. They'd rather not take the kickoff, and they'll just start with the ball. Bone back to pass. Bone lobs it out there, and it's caught. And George Johnson spins, holds on to the ball, and gets close to midfield, out of bounds at about the 52.
Well, that'll make the young quarterback feel better. He sets up well in the pocket, throws just a sideline route straight forward to George Johnson on the short side of the field, makes a good catch, avoids the first tackler, and picks up a good first down, and that'll give a bit of confidence to Stevenson Bowen, having completed his first pass of the day.
Good yards after the catch there for George Johnson. He get it out there and let a fast, agile guy do his thing. Picks up about 10 yards after the catch there. First down near midfield. Bone. He'll hand it off to Haru. Yannick Haru's got space. Yannick Haru to the outside. Cuts back, and there's a flag down, and I think it's going to be a block in the back on Western.
Looked like it possibly could be on Shaquille Johnson, the wide receiver, number 2. Yannick had the first down. He had already gained about 12 or 14 yards, and he broke it to the short side. Number 2 for Western, Shaquille Johnson, was not in great position, was actually behind the Wilfrid Laurier man, and perhaps should have just left Yannick to do what he does best, and that is beat defenders.
I think he had the cutback there regardless, but they're going to call the penalty for a block in the back, and now Western, they'll get some gain from that because it's penalty from the spot of the foul, so they'll still get a first down, and it's from Laurier's 50. This is going to be a keeper. Bone's going to throw it deep. He's got Johnson, and he can't hold on. Again, a tough throw there just at the outstretched hands of George Johnson. Couldn't quite come down with it. Well covered there on the play, too.
Right, George broke free of the coverage. The coverage was pretty good for 20 yards down the field. George broke free. The ball was thrown there, and I think George will be the first one to tell you he needs to make those catches when the ball gets into your hands right here. Here you see it on the replay. George is trying to get to the ball, gets his hands out there, and just can't pull it in.
On second glance, that's probably one he should have had. Second down and 10. Bone hands it off. Cutting back, Haru. Yannick Haru gets the first down, gets more than that, and gets down to the 30. Yannick Haru's having a good day so far.
Well, Western's having very good success getting the edge off of Wilfrid Laurier's defensive line. They're able to get round the ends, and there is no support in the secondary till about 10, 12 yards down the field. So great blocking up front by the right side, Kadeem Adams.
Haru a gain of 20 on the play. He's had a nice start to this game. Western pressing for another score, up 9-0. About 4:40 to go in the first quarter. Bones looked fine under center so far. He'll pass again. Looks at his receiver the whole way. It's George Johnson. He's been targeting George Johnson almost every time he drops back to pass so far tonight.
Well, he's just got single coverage on the short side of the field, and the defender is a good, 10, 11 yards off. Chris Aki, who is a very good defensive back, but it certainly gives the receiver and quarterback time to get 8, 9 yards, and if it's one tackle miss, it's in the end zone.
2nd and 2 once again. A lot of groundwork, but a few passes on this drive. Hand off to Sanvito. Garrett Sanvito follows his blockers. A very patient run there before he's met at the 13. These Western running backs doing a fine job tonight of letting the blocks develop and then following them for good yardage.
Well, excellent comment, Christian, because that's exactly what Garrett Sanvito did. Took his time, let the blocking form in front of them, then cut back into the middle and was able to get the first down.
And now Western back in the red zone again, second time tonight. Last time they got a touchdown from Yannick Haru. This time Garrett Sanvito up the middle, and he'll gain a couple down to the 10.
Well, good defensive play there by the tackle, Emerson Gordet of Laurier, able to close the gap rather quickly and limit the gain to only 3 yards.
2nd down and 7. Hard count as Bone looks to the sideline for the new call. Marshall sends it in, and a bit of miscommunication perhaps as the Mustangs will call timeout with 3:19 to go in the first quarter.
Well, interestingly enough, I think both teams have a similar start on their offense in the sense that they approach the line of scrimmage and see what kind of defensive alignment they get. Then everyone backs off and they check to the sideline for the call to come in once the coaches have seen what the initial defensive alignment is. So both teams showing the same tendency in that pattern in this game so far.
Stevenson Bone on the season. He hasn't thrown a lot, but when he's been called upon, and including last week after Finch was knocked out of the game by Nick Shortill, he came in and threw a beautiful pass to Shaquille Johnson, which set up a touchdown, which put Western ahead with about 9 minutes left in the fourth. They couldn't hold on, but his substitution play was critical in Western staying in that game.
Right, and here he is now in the red zone, and Coach Marshall for Western saw the defensive lineman initially, didn't like what he saw and thought they should talk it over and called the timeout. Now Stevenson Bone comes back into the huddle. An important second down. They can get a first down without getting a touchdown here.
If they get the ball to about the 3-yard line, that would be enough for a first down. Bone will pass it. He's looking touchdown. He's got it to George Johnson.
What a great route by George Johnson. He had one-on-one coverage on the outside. He made a little move, got inside, went vertical and ran the quick slant. Stevenson Bone took the snap from center, set up well, and threw a strike right into the correct area, and George is right there. So good play from the quarterback, great play by the receiver, making a good move and catch. Good drive by Western to establish their second touchdown.
Great first step from Johnson. Chris Aki really had no chance after Johnson made that first move right by him. The throw was on the money, and Western has after this extra point, it's down, it's good. They have themselves a 16-0 lead. Here we go. Western doing well to start this game. 16-0, 3:16 to go here at TD Waterhouse Stadium in London. We'll be back.
Hey now, pictures cover all the walls, and I'm addicted to the opera. No Oprah, but hey, I like it all. Hey now, radio silence gets so loud. If you're gonna play the fiddle, better tell it to the crowd. I know the way you feel. You gotta just what's real. Oh, you got the love you're thinking out.
Waterhouse Stadium, where the Western Mustangs have taken an early 16-0 lead over the Laurier Golden Hawks, a battle of 4-1 teams as they battle for positioning in the OUA. McMaster, the lone undefeated team, they're 5-0. Western's path forward doesn't get any easier. They got Windsor and Guelph left this season. A kick fielded at the 3 by Ouellette. Ouellette out to the outside, and then he is met at the 19-yard line there by Phil Najur.
Again, good coverage by the team covering the kickoff. A great tackle down there on the 20-yard line by Western Sam linebacker Phil Najur.
So Laurier gets it to about the 20-yard line. Starting field position tonight has been a bit of a battle for Laurier. Even on kickoffs, they've been unable to really advance it past that point. But there is a penalty on the play to Western, which means, as I say that, they're starting on the 35.
Well, on the way down, there was a rough play picked up by one of the officials around the 50-yard line, so nowhere near the actual football play where the ball carrier was.
Those are the kind of penalties you really don't want as a team. Can't afford those. Has no impact on the play. First down, Laurier trying to answer Western. They hand it to Campbell. Dylan Campbell makes a man miss. Dylan Campbell tries to run through a tackle and squirms his way to the 50.
Well, there you saw he got to the left side of the line. There was a crease. He got through the crease, and once he gets in the open field, you see what a great runner and how dangerous he is, and it was a touchdown-saving tackle.
You can see the numbers. They're incredible for Dylan Campbell. There are 10 touchdowns, over 1,000 yards rushing in just 5 games played. And he has a 16-yard run on first down. He gets the ball again, and he's got more space, breaks through a tackle, and he's got some room to run. Dylan Campbell all the way down to the 32, and he's starting to make his presence known here tonight.
Well, they went exactly back to the same place there on the left side. They're having success. Opened up the hole. Safety came up, tried to make the tackle, and was not successful. So good answer after the 2 touchdowns from Wilfred Laurier.
16 yards in the first carry, 27 on the second. has Laurier to the 30. And they'll give it to Campbell again, but this time Western's ready for him, and they stuff him at the line for no gain.
A little better response by the defensive line there. Middle linebacker Preston Huggins coming up and making a good tackle.
So far for Dylan Campbell, it's either been a big gash of a run or he's stopped at the line for about 1 yard. So I think about 6 carries, and 2 of them have been those 2 good gainers, and the rest Western's been ready for him. 2nd down and 8. They're in field goal range or about the fringe of it. Pfeffer's got a good range. They missed, though, the first kick from 35. Fracas alone in the backfield. He looks left. He throws it. They get it, but not a first down as Campbell gets the ball again, this time on a pass route. They won't have enough for a first down, so they'll send Pfeffer out once again.
Well, a safe call from Wilfred Laurier. They just took the back and slipped him out to the left side. And I think he was trying to throw further downfield to the wide receiver on that side who was covered, so he only had his sort of safety valve to dump the ball off into the flats.
Pfeffer uncharacteristically missed his first, and then Malcolm Brown had a 40-yard return, which set them up nicely, and they drove down the field for a touchdown. For Pfeffer, that was only his 3rd miss of the season. From 32, Pfeffer, it's up, and that one's good, and Laurier is on the board here, 16-3.
Well, good kick that time, but I'd love to see a replay. I can't believe how close Josh Woodman came from the Laurier's right side, Western's left side, and I think the ball went right through his hands.
Tough to tell sometimes from this angle, but he got close on that one.
Well, he certainly did, and I see he's talking to a couple of the coaches on the sideline there. They're going over with him as well. It looked like it really did go right through his hands. He was in perfect position to block that punt.
Almost there. Maybe it wasn't as close as we thought, but still good attempt to get pressure on Pfeffer as Western will take over from their own 35. Bone gives it to Sanvito. Sanvito, a good gain on first down. He gains about 9. They might give him the first down, maybe just short of the 45-yard line. They'll be about a no shy of a first down.
Well, they're just hitting up in the middle there. He's getting great blocking up front by his center, Matt Van Prate, Joe Ciselli, and Sean Jameson, the guards, really opening a number of holes in the middle of Laurier's defense, allowing him to get into the secondary and forcing the backers in secondary to come up and make the tackle.
Western so far has had a pretty easy time running the football, especially up the middle. 2nd down and very short. No, they gave him the first down. A little bit of a leak out there, and Bone hits Tom Marshall. And a gain down to the 53 as we go down to John Urban.
Thanks once again, Christian. Down 16-3. The Laurier Golden Hawks are trying to find their way right now, and Coach Michael Faulds might be wishing, hey, I wish I could go back into the QB role of things. When he was at Western, he won 2 Yates Cups for us in the purple and white uniform, including being MVP in both victories. He was one of 3 quarterbacks in CIS history to throw over 10,000 career passing yards with 10,811. Guys?
Thank you, John. Sanvito with a good run on first down to get it into Laurier territory down to the 47, and we'll have time for one more play before the end of the first quarter.
Well, they're moving the ball well again on the ground and then mixing it up on the previous series of downs with a little pass out to Tom Marshall in the flat.
Western averaging almost 11.
You got it, just what's real. Oh, you got the love to break it out.
Welcome back to TD Waterhouse Stadium here in London, Ontario. The Mustangs lead Laurier 16-3 as we join second quarter action here. Mustangs have the ball just inside Laurier territory. Stevenson Bone on 2nd and 12. Throws it to the sideline. He hits George Johnson, but it will be short of a first down. This is generally the territory where Western goes for it on 3rd down, and they'll likely do so here.
Right, the wide receiver George Johnson, actually, he should be taking that route a little bit deeper. It was a 2nd and 12, and he ran it like it was a 1st and 10 or 10 yards to go, and he needs to push that route deeper so they're not facing this 3rd and 2.
Western on 3rd down this year, 10 of 17, 59%. San Vito runs it, doesn't get it, but a flag flies.
Right, I think there's too many Wilfrid Laurier people on the field. I think they have 13, and two came on and only one went off, so there might be too many men.
Call a legal substitution here, and they will, and that'll give Western a first down. A bit of a miscue there on defense. They call too many men on the field.
The ball inside the 30-yard line and a first down.
So the Mustangs will get a first down by penalty after that run. End up losing yards. Take a look here. Can we see enough? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There might have been someone at the top of the screen. Can't quite see there. Now there'd be someone at the bottom there covering the receiver. That would be 13 men on the field.
That's too bad because the defensive tackle, Asante Misen, made a great stop on the play.
San Vito on first down. Squirms his way to about a 4-yard gain. Gets through the hole and dives forward to get that one. So 2nd down from the 27-yard line as they approach the red zone for the 3rd time tonight.
Good run there by San Vito as the hole really didn't open up the way it has been, and he had to squirm and move his feet well and just in order to get to 4 yards.
So gain of just a couple on the play. Bone back to pass. He's got pressure in his face, and it's a low throw. It's going to be caught by Sinclair, but maybe the pressure affected Bone's throw there as that was low, as Sinclair was backpedaling to the sideline, unable to get up or to hold on to his footing there. Fell down, and once you hit the ground in the Canadian game, you're down.
That's right. The ball was underthrown to Sinclair coming out of the backfield, and I think the quarterback was just in a hurry. He knew he had to get rid of it right away and just ended up throwing it at the feet.
You can see there the ball was behind him. It was a good job by Sinclair to get it, even though it's only a gain of 1. But his momentum was taking him the wrong way. Medeiros on the field to attempt a field goal, 10 of 13 on the season. That kick is up, and it's through. So a 19-3 lead for the Mustangs now. As 33-yard field goal goes through the uprights for Medeiros.
Well, good job there from John B. Wald, the snapper, and then the holder, Stevenson Bone, and the kick from Zach Medeiros. So all 3 phases of that field goal worked well and went right through the uprights.
Good start for Bone. He's looked, until that last pass, he's looked good, under control. And now Laurier down by 16 points. We'll try to get something going here. The hand to Campbell. Dylan Campbell tries to follow a crowd, but he only gets maybe 1 yard. Maybe not even that. Go down to John Urban on the sideline for an update.
Thanks once again, Christian. Just over my shoulder, you see Garrett San Vito getting his left ankle attended to, being taped right now. That's the same ankle that he aggravated during the Waterloo game, in which he scored 2 touchdowns before having the ankle sprain and having to leave. Just precautionary, guys. He should be back in any moment now.
Thank you, John. Yannick Carouse looked pretty good running the ball today, too. So if they can give San Vito rest, I think they can afford it. Scramble. A good rollout, and they hit Campbell. But Campbell's knocked out of bounds, shy of the first down marker, and that could force a 2-and-out here.
Well, good coverage from the Sam linebacker for Western, picking up Campbell as he got into the flat, and Phil Najerd made a good play on it.
Pressure was coming. I think the play design was for the rollout. And a good throw, but again, you mentioned having the route cut off before the first down marker doesn't really do you any good, especially if you're running to the sideline.
Exactly.
So it forces Pfeffer to punt, and Pfeffer has perhaps the best, strongest leg in the country. He has the #1 punt average, 44.9 yards per kick. Lets this one fly, and it's a bit of a short one. Fielded in the air there by Yannick Haru, and he gets it down to the 39. Good job by Laurier avoiding the no yards penalty. And from the 39, Western will start.
Well, I'm not convinced they avoided the no yards penalty. I think it just wasn't called because it was a shorter kick, and Yannick came up, made a great catch, but the officials obviously agree with you.
It's tough on those shorter kicks to really control that no yards because you're just running straight down the field, and all of a sudden it's caught, right? You expect the kick to go longer than that, especially when Pfeffer's averaging 45 yards a punt. But they get away with it, and Western will start from the 39. Bone fakes the handoff. He's looking. Bit of contact there as he's looking for Justin Sanvito. Sanvito talking to Chris Venter, the umpire, looking for some contact there, and is unsure why it wasn't called. Anyway, it'll be second down.
Well, they just threw a deep into Justin Sanvito. Stevenson Bone sets up, he reads it, throws it to the receiver coming in, and the Wilfrid Laurier guys certainly had tight coverage. It's difficult to see if he got there too soon or not.
It was close.
It was close, and Justin just needs to focus and make sure he makes the catch.
Bone looking deep. He's going for Johnson. There's a lot of contact there, a heck of a lot of contact, and that is one of the easier calls that you'll see made in the CIS game there. Is all over George Johnson there.
Right. Number 6, Austin Roosh, for Laurier, tried to run with him down the field, and George made a move on him, got outside, and that's when he had to interfere with him and slow him down. And easy call for the official, and again, good throw and play by the receiver and quarterback for Western.
Yeah, Austin Roosh, there might have been some clutching and grabbing initially that might have been called, but then he went down with them, and that's going to be called every time. Sinclair gets the ball on first down. Sinclair's got some space, makes another man miss, breaks free of another tackle. Adam Sinclair all the way down to the 34. What a nice run there. And Sinclair, every time he touches the ball this year, it seems like he has been able to get a lot of yards.
Well, Adam Sinclair is a special young man. He's got great feet as a running back and as a slot back, and he certainly demonstrated it again on that play. Very patient runner, and I think we've used that word a number of times in today's game. One thing you can credit the Western running backs is they're showing tremendous patience, letting their blocks being set up properly, and then showing great quickness with their feet and getting downfield.
A 17-yard run for Adam Sinclair on the season. He hasn't received a ton of touches offensively, but he's got 19 carries for 190 yards and a touchdown. 10 yards a run is pretty good. If he qualified, that would be tops in the country.
That's very good, and you have to remember he's been playing behind Matt Uren, who unfortunately was injured against McMaster last week, so Adam's seeing far more playing time and showing the depth that Western has at some of their positions.
Including kick returns and catches. Adam Sinclair coming into tonight averaging over 13 yards per touch on the season, which is a great number. And they're going to have to help the injured player off the field. That's Emerson Gourdet. You take a look at the numbers here. Great numbers across the board for both squads. What number jumps out at you there is the total offense difference. Western has almost 1,000 more yards of total offense, and you could really thank the passing game for that, as the rushing games are both very good. But Western has the distinct advantage in the throwing game. And now Western will continue to try to push this drive down the field after Gourdet is helped off. Western first down from the 34 of Laurier. Bone to pass. Bone hit as he throws. And it's caught by Brian Marshall down to the 8. Bone took a hit, but he made the throw, and Marshall's pumped up after that one.
Well, Stevenson Bone had the linebacker right in his face. Number 40, Brandon Calver, came in, and Stevenson knew he was going to take a hit, tried to step into the throw, and certainly took a hit. Brian Marshall, running down the left side of the field, made a great adjustment to the ball, makes a great catch. So, again, two good individual plays by Marshall and Bone.
They pick up 26 on the play, and it puts them in the red zone once again. So far, they're 2 for 3 on touchdowns. They settled for a field goal earlier. From the 8, Bone. They'll hand it off. Haru up the middle, and Haru gets to the 4. Gets about halfway to the end zone on first down.
Good initial surge by that left side of the line, running behind Eddie Meredith at left tackle and Joe Ciselli at the left guard position. Now they're looking, I believe, at about 4 yards to the end zone.
So second down, and they'll call it goal. Second and goal. So they get less field to work with. Will they run the ball as they've been doing all night? They will. It's Haru. It's Haru, but he cannot stay on his feet. He dodged one tackle, but he's brought down at the 3, and now it's decision time for Greg Marshall. And it looks like he's leaving the O on the field.
Well, good defensive stand there by the Wilfrid Laurier Golden Hawks. Their left side of the defensive line there did a good job.
On the season, red zone stats for Western. 27 of 30 coming into tonight so far. They have a couple touchdowns in the red zone to add to those nice numbers. But now they're going for it on third down and goal from the 2-yard line. Third down numbers on the season, they are 11 of 18, just over 60%. Bone under center. Maybe they're just trying to draw them. A flag does fly.
Well, it's delay a game, and I think you're right, Christian. They were trying to draw them offside, but ended up being a delay game by Western, so it looks like the field goal will now come out.
By taking that penalty, you now give yourself a bit of a better angle to kick this through. If you're kicking from, you're kicking from the 7-8 yard line from that angle. It's a tough one. But now they back it up 5 yards, hope to get them offside, maybe give yourself a first down there. But in the end, Laurier holds strong, and now Zach Medeiros will have a chip shot here from what's basically an extra point distance. 13-yarder.
The Western coaches, I think, obviously made the decision to go for the field goal here.
No problem for Medeiros. So he kicks it through, and we have a flag down in the end zone here. This wouldn't be a too many men on the field penalty again, would it? We'll have to hold on here. The offense is heading back on the field for Western.
No flag on the play.
Nope.
Field goal attempt is good.
Never mind. It's picked up, and Western's field goal will stand.
Well, they had a little bit of a substitution problem again on that special teams play. The player easily got off the field, so referees did the right thing in picking up the flag and saying no penalty.
Or else that could have been a big time penalty. A 4-point difference potentially, and it likely would have been. Laurier still, though, down 19. They're hanging around because they've held Western to a few field goals here today. But they've got their work cut out for them. They need to start scoring some touchdowns. They start from their own 35. Fracas back to pass. They're going the wheel route there, and it is just off the fingertips of Anthony Pizzuti, but a flag goes down.
Well, an easy call again for the official. They're running that deep outside route there. Josh Woodman had a big grab of the shirt of Pizzuti, number 8 for Laurier, and really an easy call for the official.
So that'll be a much-needed gain for the Laurier Golden Hawks on offense. Pizzuti with his first target of the day on the season, 28 catches for 225 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Well, he just came from his slot back position.
And sorry, Nigel, but we've got another flag on the field here.
Well, I already know what that one is. That's the from the official closest to the Western bench, and I think a number of the Western individuals, whether players or coaches, were not too happy with what was going on, and as a result, there's going to be an unsportsman or objectionable conduct thrown at the bench for Western. need to show a little better discipline. You already had a big penalty against you, and now another 15 yards.
That one will just be 10, actually, as they move it up to the 50-yard line. They gain 25 yards without actually completing a play. So now Laurier first down from Western's 50. They throw it backwards, and that just didn't work. I don't know if they were trying to do some kind of forget about Arkarakis back there play. That was technically, I believe, a lateral.
It was a lateral, and they missed the block on the field corner, Josh Woodman. He read the play right away, and he was there instantly to make the tackle.
They blow that play up in the backfield. It's a loss of 3. Fracas found Arkarakis back there, but there really wasn't anything doing as Woodman broke it up. 5 receivers now for Fracas with Campbell in the backfield. Second and long and what is likely 3 down territory here. Fracas goes up the middle. He's trying to break free. And a nice looking run from Fracas as he gets just shy of the first down. He'll be about 2 yards shy, and Laurier will have 3rd and 2 here coming up.
Well, they're trying to get the play in quickly and run their hurry-up offense. 3rd and short here. Great play by Fracas. Nothing was open downfield. A good scramble to get the 8-9 yards, but Rupert Butcher made a great tackle holding him to the 8 yards.
2 yards needed for Laurier. They have the best running back in the country. Will they give it to him? They're lining up in shotgun, though. 5 seconds on the play clock. Fracas gets the snap. He's going to pass it on 3rd and 2. He's going to go deep. He's got a man, and it's dropped. Greg Ninehoff. And a big chance there, but Greg Ninehoff couldn't hold on, and Western will take over on downs.
Well, they got what they wanted. That is man-on-man coverage, and Ninehoff is just running a streak down the hash marks on the wide side of the field. The coverage was right there, but the ball was perfectly thrown, and I think the receiver really had a good shot at it.
Anyway, Western will take over when we come back on Mustangs TV.
Someday your life will flash before your eyes. Make it worth watching. The all-new Lexus LSF Sport. An entirely new pursuit.
Every day you go new places. A small change in how you do things, or moving your things to a whole new town, or many things to many towns, all at once. No matter how small the move, it can be a big leap from where you are now. You've got it in you to go new places. So do we. We go there every day. We're here to help you move to places on the map, in the mind, in the heart, or all 3.
Go new places with AMJ Campbell. Contact us at 888-AMJ-MOVE or amjcampbell.com.
Back at TD Waterhouse Stadium, Western looking very good on defense so far today, and their offense has been good too as they lead 22-3. Laurier's rued some missed opportunities so far today. Bone on first down, back to pass. He's hit as he throws, and it's deflected and caught by George Johnson. What a fortunate play for Western as that ball was up there for grabs, and it tips into the hands of George Johnson for a nice gain.
It was a fortunate break as they brought 7 people on the rush, and Bone was certainly under pressure. He stepped forward, his arm was hit, the ball fluttered in the air and ended up in the hands of George Johnson, luckily for Western.
When that one first went up, it looked like it had a good chance of being picked. Now Bone back to pass again. It's Johnson again. Johnson eludes 1 tackle, eludes 2 tackles, and then hits the ground at the 33 after a gain of 18.
Well, they've shown us that play a number of times. The corner for Laurier is playing off. George has enough room to run down, get 10, 11 yards, and then again, if they miss a tackle, he's able to get yards after the catch.
So it seems like with every progressive drive that they go on, they're throwing the ball more and more frequently, and Bone's been able to live up to it. George Johnson's been a very busy man tonight, though. Been the #1 target of Bone. You can tell they're comfortable with each other. Sanvito right up the middle. Sanvito now to the outside, cuts back, spins down to the 13. You throw it a couple times, it opens it up for the run.
Well, nice blocking again up front. Running on the left side there with Eddie Meredith and again Joe Cercelli. Garrett gets into the open field and he's a dangerous runner downfield. He makes people miss, and I'm using the word again, he's got patience. The Laurier tacklers come up out of the secondary and he shows great patience and makes a move and gets great yardage.
Right up the middle for 20 yards, and now Western back in the red zone for the 4th time tonight. Bone waves the slots up, and Sanvito will get it again, and Sanvito will get it up to the 7 as they get about half the distance to the goal on 1st down.
The offensive line doing a good job moving the defensive line for the Golden Hawks back, it seems, on every play and getting good surge, and the running backs aren't being touched till 4 or 5 yards downfield before a white shirt gets a hand on them.
They've been rushing it almost every down inside the red zone tonight, with the exception of the touchdown pass on the slant route to George Johnson back in the 1st quarter. George Johnson has caught 6 passes for 79 yards and a touchdown. 6 of Bone's 9 completions have been to George Johnson. 2nd down, Bone under center from the 7. He'll hand it off to Sanvito. It hits the turf. The ball hit the ground. It looked like Sanvito jumped on top of it, though. And that'll bring up 3rd down, and it'll likely bring Medeiros out to try another field goal.
Well, Western brought in their heavy package and wanted to show that they were able to move the Golden Hawks back, but Golden Hawks again stood firm against this heavy package, and they were not successful. A bit of a problem with the ball handling between Stevenson Bone and Garrett Sanvito.
That'll bring Medeiros out, who so far tonight is 2 for 2. He hit a 33-yarder, and he's hit a 13-yarder tonight. And now he will have a roughly 13, 14-yarder again, as he's got a very high percentage kick coming up. And this one will be placed at the 13. So going for a 2nd 13-yarder of the game.
Well, you don't want your offense to march successfully downfield all these times and then just end up kicking field goals. That'll be a bit disappointing for the offense, even though they're putting some points up each time. When you're successful with the drives, you do want the 6 points rather than the 3 coming up.
Well, and one of the things Laurier is probably looking back on so far today and thinking what could have been, they missed that field goal early on before Western had a touchdown on the board, and all of a sudden it's been all Western since that miss.
It has been, and there's been some close calls too because of the Western defense playing so well.
Mustangs fans, are you looking for Mustangs gear? The bookstore and Book Plus at Western are the place to go, or you can shop online at bookstore.oua.ca. Laurier starting with the ball now on their own 35. They've had a few drives that have stalled, whether it's penalties, missed field goals, or that last one when a long shot on 3rd down didn't happen. But a good gain now on 1st down, as Laurier will get it down to midfield with Anthony Pizzuti picking up a good chunk of yardage there. Gets 25 on 1st down.
Well, he came from his slot back position on the wide side of the field and just came underneath at about 4 or 5 yards. And initially he was picked up by the middle linebacker, Huggins, but he seemed to let him go, and that's when Fracas spotted him and threw the ball to him.
Gain of 20, pardon me. Trying to get the math right with the Canadian field. Sometimes I miss 5 yards here and there. 1st down, run, it's Campbell. Western's done a fine job of containing Campbell today. He's had a couple big runs, but other than that, He scratched and clawed for 3 yards here, 2 yards there, and that there on first down was a gain of 4.
Well, good description, because that's exactly what he did there. He slashed hard for the 3 yards, and he did initially get through the D line, and it was only a great tackle by the number 12, the Sam linebacker for Western, bringing him down to the ground.
Phil Najor making a nice play, and now second down and 6. They like doing that, everyone run to the line, but the hard count not working on these defenses, as Western's used to seeing that from their own team. Fracas under pressure over the middle. There's no one there. Well overthrew Greg Nyhoff there, and now it'll be third down for Laurier. And they'll probably bring up Pfeffer to punt.
Well, he had certainly a lot of pressure on him, and it was probably a good thing that he overthrew him, because he threw into double coverage, and luckily for him it wasn't picked off because it was overthrown.
Western's worst starting field position tonight has been their own 35, and it looks like for the first time tonight, if Laurier can get a good punt, they can pin Western deep. We'll see if Pfeffer can aim this one towards the sideline. He has 10 punts this season inside the 20-yard line. They run a fake, though, and Nyhoff will be brought down behind the line of scrimmage, let alone the first down marker. They go for the fake punt, they go for the gamble, and it does not work for Laurier.
Well, a very interesting call by the Laurier Golden Hawks in midfield. And you think midfield is a safe place to try one of those plays. I'm just thinking, when you sit this past 4 days and been watching the game film, and you saw that Mac was successful twice, what do you say? Yes, we can do it as well? Or do you think perhaps Western will make sure that doesn't happen again?
The difference is that both fake punts from Mac were throws from the punter. That one was snapped to the up back, and it just didn't work. Bone for the rollout. He's going deep, going for Marshall. Double coverage, and that's all kinds of illegal there. Flags fly from multiple locations as Marshall was knocked down before the ball got there, and that's, again, an easy call.
It was an easy call, but miraculously he's on his back, and Brian I thought he made the catch down there. He was trying to run a corner route. The ball was thrown high.
And, yeah, he caught that pass. We can take another look at that. I thought there was no chance he was going to catch that ball.
Well, that's because everyone in the stand saw him fall down. He's laying on his back, but both Laurier defenders went down as well, and the ball fell right down into his arms, and he made the catch. So a completion again from Bone to Marshall.
So it's a 26-yard gain on what appeared to be just a broken play, and what could have been a penalty. Instead, it's a miracle catch, and that is the 3-minute warning here at TD Waterhouse Stadium. We'll be back with the conclusion of the second half right after this.
Lone Star believes that tortillas should be the rodeo star, not the sideshow clown. Gotta be baked fresh, so they wrap around toppings like a warm hug from your mama. That's why Lone Star bakes those blankets of heaven in each restaurant with their own special oven. They ain't reheated in no microwave. So if that much goes into making their tortillas taste so good, imagine what goes into the rest of the fajita. Lone Star, the taste is in the details.
New improved Powerade Ion 4 replenishes fuel and 4 of the minerals lost in sweat. Powerade Ion 4 hydrates better than water. Keep sweating.
TD Waterhouse Stadium, Mustangs up 25-3, and they're driving again to try to put another score on the board before halftime. They have the ball inside the 30 after a bit of a wild play. We'll show it to you after this one. Brian Marshall caught a ball that looked like the play was dead. We'll show it to you after first down here for the Mustangs inside the 30. Bone with 3 in the backfield. Fakes the handoff and goes in the air. Johnson can't find it. It was intended for Johnson, and he had his defender off him. Missed chance there. We take a look at the last play. Marshall at the bottom of your screen, you see he's brought to the ground. It hits off the Laurier defender and lands in the lap of Brian Marshall, who is lying flat on the back on the field. You can see he's got it. It's just the most fortunate play you could imagine, as it just fell to him from the sky, lying down on his back.
It certainly was a fortunate break. I mean, the interference call was easy, but he gained more yards because of making the catch.
He gained 26 instead of 15. Bone to pass on second down. Shoulder fake in the air, going to Shaquille Johnson. That's a slightly underthrown, and that'll bring up third down.
Well, they were trying to run the quick slant and go, and the defender was off too much to really make it an effective play. He has to have tighter coverage than that. And I think if they had thrown the quick slant, he would still be running and would have gone right into the end zone. So sometimes you can outfool yourself sometimes there.
And now Zach Medeiros, his longest field goal on the season is 39 yards this year. A 34-yarder. As he's approaching the end of his proven range. I'm sure he can kick farther than that. He's been perfect so far today. A bit of a high snap there, but Bone does a good job to get it down. Medeiros plows it through. Another field goal, and Medeiros is perfect on the day.
Well, it was a great kick, and you're right, the snap was a little high, so credit to Stevenson Bone for getting that ball down. But I'll go back to the point I made earlier. Here you see Western's offense being successful moving the ball down the field, but getting down into the red zone or getting down, inside the 20, 25, and they're running into difficulties in terms of finishing off drives. So the coaching staff will certainly have to address that and make sure that they are getting some major scores and not field goals. I guess in the same breath, give Laurier credit for, putting up stops there.
First down. Arkarakis close to the first down marker. Last week, York didn't get a touchdown. They got 3 field goals after getting pretty deep into Laurier territory, just like Western has tonight. Western 4 field goals, 2 of them from 13 yards, both of which, that's very close to the goal line, having to kick those. And now going for the quick play and the sneak, Fracas may have gotten it, but in the meantime, there's a flag down.
Well, it's going to be called procedure against the Golden Hawks. The lineman fell forward before the ball was snapped, and that really hurts them because they had a short amount of yards, like less than a yard to pick up, and now they're going to be looking at 2nd and 5.
5 yards, still second down.
The Adopt a Mustang program is a great program. You can help Western student athletes excel in and out of the classroom. For more information, visit westernmustangs.ca. And now 2nd down and 5. Still a very manageable distance for the Golden Hawks. They tried a quick snap. The Mustangs had ended up costing themselves 5 yards. Fracas with 2.5 to go in the first half. 2 seconds on the play clock. Got to get the snap off. They'll throw it over the middle. It is caught for a first down by Greg Nyhoff. Nyhoff, 7 catches, 155 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Coming into tonight, 7 catches, but 3 of them were touchdowns. Very productive receiver. He's got a couple tonight.
Well, a good call there. He's just running against man coverage, and he's running about an 8-yard slant in. The ball's perfectly thrown, and very successful play.
Campbell runs into a big crowd there, and he'll go down after a gain of about 3. He's been well contained tonight by the Mustangs as the Golden Hawks are in hurry-up mode right now.
Well, Jeff Brooks from his linebacking position came up, and he and Darryl Wadd made a great play, holding him to 3 or 4 yards.
2nd down and 6. Laurier has plenty of time here, but they need to get some yards. Fracas, 10 on the play clock. And we've got a timeout by the Golden Hawks, and that gives us some time to go down to John Urban on the sidelines. John?
Thanks once again, Christian. Will Finch out of this game, which is obviously big news on the half of the purple and white, but Stevenson Bone filling in quite nicely. A little bit of an apple falling off the tree, not too far, if you will, considering his dad, Jamie, who's the quarterback coach, won a Heck Creighton Award here at Western. You also got to talk about Blake Huggins. The brother of Preston Huggins is actually backing up Stevenson Bone today, and the fourth-string quarterback, yeah, they got a four-string, Josh Beach. He won the Ontario Offensive Player of the Week award for the London Beefeaters. So the quarterback position is on lock here at Western, to say the least, guys.
Well, Blake Huggins filled in a couple years ago when Will Finch and Donnie Marshall were hurt. I think Will Finch had an appendectomy, and Blake Huggins was thrown into the action and did pretty well, if I do remember correctly. He'll be backing up today, and he'll definitely be able to hold his own if it comes to that. But right now, Stevenson Bone has done a nice job leading the Mustangs offense to 28 first half points. And now Laurier with under 2 to go, trying to drive for an answer. Fracas holds. He's got to elude a man. He manages to get it to Campbell, and they get no gain instead of a loss of maybe 9 on the play. A great job by Fracas, throwing as he's almost falling sideways.
Well, a really outstanding play by Fracas. He had pressure, couldn't find anyone. Someone's on him. Their arms around his ankles, and he gets the ball. But great defensive tackle by Simon Peru coming up from his cornerback position and doing a great tackle, limiting Campbell. Now they're forced to punt.
So with under a minute 45 to go, Western will have the ball, and they've got time now to score more points. Sanvito and Haru back to receive the kick from Pfeffer. This time they're not going to fake it. They're going to kick it. And it's a nice one from Pfeffer. Sanvito has it at the 10. Slips a bit, and he lost the football. It's loose, and it's picked up, and going nowhere there. A lucky play. And Jeff Brooks ends up getting on top of it.
Well, Justin fielded the ball rather well. It was a high kick, great punt. Took about 4 yards up and was met by a barrage of Hawks, and the ball pops out. Unfortunately, Western's had a few breaks in the first half. The ball's bounced in the right way. The tip pass by Bone into the hands of Johnson. The tip pass into the hands of Marshall. Now this fumble bounces into the hands of Jeff Brooks. So the first half breaks have certainly gone Western's way.
It went backwards about 4 yards, and no one knew that the ball was out, and all of a sudden Jeff Brooks saw it on the ground, picked it up, and ran with it. And now by far the worst starting field position of the day for Western. Sinclair picks up the pass out of the backfield, and he'll hurdle up to the 19, just shy of a first down.
Well, good read there by the quarterback. They've been throwing to George Johnson on that short side, and he's been having fun with the corner. And the corner went deep with George, and then they just dumped it to Adam in the flat, and the corner had to come off very quickly and make a tackle.
On 2nd and 1, Bone will get the requisite yardage for the first down. And that more or less ensures that Laurier probably won't get the ball back here in this first half. So first down for Western. How much pressure do they want to put on this Laurier defense as we take another look at the Sinclair first down catch? Hard man to tackle. A run to Sanvito. You'll get about 8 yards there. As that looked dead, but he managed to push ahead to get a gain of 8.
Right, he was met about 3 yards into the middle there by a number of Hawks, and then he carried them another 4 or 5 yards, really churning out hard yardage. Great run by Garrett.
Western trying to go the no huddle here, and they got the yards, and Sanvito keeps going. Garrett Sanvito all the way to the 42. Another strong run from Sanvito. Gain of 14 on the play, Nigel.
Garrett Sanvito demonstrating not only his speed, but his strength.
So he had a bit of a stiff arm going there. Another first down. Bone this time to pass. He's got to be careful, elude some pressure, and he's got a lot of space to run. Stevenson Bone, he has a blocker downfield. Stevenson Bone still going. Bone making many Hawks miss, and he gets all the way down to the 20-yard line.
Well, that was an exciting play for Stevenson Bone. He went back to pass and he couldn't find anyone open. Slipped out the right side to the wide side of the field and then quickly went down the field and made some great moves to have some Hawk defenders miss, and gets all the way down to the 20-yard line, and there's 36 seconds left.
A gain of 47 on the play. Look at that. He made 2 men fall to the ground. And now Bone will run again. Bone goes all the way to the end zone for a touchdown. A drive that started on their 10-yard line, and in half a minute they go 100 yards for the touchdown.
Well, an exciting play for Stevenson Bone. He keeps the ball after first putting it in the hands of the running back, pulling it out, and then going in the end zone, following some good blocking, but making some great moves himself and taking it in the end zone, putting like 60 yards on the ground himself, showing that he's quite a capable young runner.
67 to be exact on 2 consecutive rushing plays in his first ever start. Bone has, with every successive drive, looked more and more comfortable. And Western, I don't know if it's safe to say yet, but the route is on here at TD Waterhouse Stadium as they're going to head into the halftime break up by a comfortable margin of what right now looks like just under 5 touchdowns. So they're going to have to kick the extra point to make it a 32-point lead. Medeiros hasn't missed one all season. Interestingly enough, Ronnie Pfeffer's missed 2 extra points this year. Medeiros, he's been perfect, and he still is. 1 more point on the board for the Mustangs, 35-3. Stevenson Bone so far 11 passes for 153 yards, almost 10 yards per attempt. He's got a touchdown as well to George Johnson, but rushing the ball, he was huge on that drive. There's the profile. Not the biggest guy, 6 feet, 185, but he can run surprisingly well, very well, an elusive runner. And I'd say that agility is what makes him such a dangerous guy on his feet.
Well, he's showing great moves on the field and great feet, and no doubt he probably gets all those great moves and good feet action from his mother, who, demonstrated that many times, I'm sure. I don't think he got that from his dad.
No,
I'd have to check that out, though.
Yeah, his dad didn't do anything special here. You could ask him at halftime. Zach Medeiros. Longest punt on the season was 72 yards, a nice one. He's got pretty good kicking stats, averages about 60 yards per kickoff. And with only 23 seconds left here, really good coverage here, and you can go to halftime with the lead of 32 points. High kick is fielded at the 3. Ouellette with a nice return, and Ouellette has some space. Look at Ouellette go all the way down to the 50. And with 14 seconds left, Laurier has time to maybe get it in field goal range here at the end of the first half.
Well, you certainly don't want to see that if you're the Western coaches, but great effort by the Laurier return group. They've had success with their kickoffs all year and certainly demonstrated their good blocking and good running to get great field position with 14 seconds to go.
A 58-yard return on the kickoff by Carson Ouellette. Just as long as he's had all season. Fracas escapes pressure. He's got to get to the outside if they want to get some yardage here. He'll get it to about the 41, 6.8 seconds left.
Well, Fracas has done that earlier. He's unable to find a receiver, slips up into the middle, and then shows good speed to get outside and out of bounds and stop the clock.
So right now, if they were to kick it from here, it would be about a 48-yarder. Pfeffer's long on the season is 50. They need probably about 7 or 8 more yards to make it more comfortable. That one skipped in. Going for Nyhoff is underthrown. 4 seconds left, but it's 3rd down, and now Pfeffer will try a long field goal.
Interesting call here in the last, with 4 seconds to go. If he does go for the field goal, it certainly will be a long one, 47, 48 yards. And what that does in terms of range, it gives you an excellent chance of a return. So let's see what Western does here.
Ronnie Pfeffer on the season coming into tonight, 15 of 17. Tonight, he's 1 for 2. But his longest is a 50-yarder, and that's very impressive in the Canadian game. And now he will try one just under that. It'll be about a 48-yarder.
Well, it shows you the strength of his leg, and we'll have to watch here to see if he gets a good snap and hold, which will give him a great chance to put it in.
Doesn't look like the wind's a factor at all right now.
No, the flags aren't moving at all.
Not even a little bit.
Perfect condition, and
they line it up, and this is, you're right, a good chance for Western to return it. Brown back in the end zone. Had a 40-yard return after a missed field goal in the first quarter. This a 48-yard field goal to end the first half for Laurier. Kick is up. Is it got the distance? It glances off the middle crossbar and through for a 48-yarder.
Well, he did have the distance, and it just made it, and doesn't matter by how much. The 3 points, a great kick by that young man.
2 inches shorter, and it would have hit and stayed short. But instead, some silver lining for Laurier as they head to the locker room. They still trail 35-6 after one half of play. Stevenson Bone filling in for the injured Will Finch, 11 of 16, 153 and a touchdown. But he's also run the ball well on that last drive, 67 yards rushing and a touchdown for Bone. It's 35-6. Western leads at the half. We'll be back with second half action in about 15 minutes time on Mustangs TV. But first, Greg Marshall with John Urban.
Thank you very much, guys. Greg Marshall, how are you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing fine, thanks.
Excellent. 5 days after the first loss here at TD Waterhouse Stadium since 2012, the purple and white are rounding quite nicely, to say the least.
Well, you know what? We have so many players injured right now. I'm just really proud of the way our guys came out with the amount of enthusiasm and emotion that they showed. We just got to keep it going, though. It was only half the game, but boy, we were coming off the football, and I'm proud of the way our guys have been playing.
I gotta get your thoughts on Stevenson Bone, considering his last 2 runs before halftime, a combined 67 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, no, he's running well. He's running well. We're gonna, he's throwing the ball well. We got to get a couple of those deep ones because we have some guys open. But I'm really proud of the way Stevenson stepped up, and he's done a really good job in the first half.
Is it a little odd looking across the field, though, and seeing a former Western quarterback?
I don't look across the field. I'll see Michael after the game. He's not a Western quarterback tonight.
Hey, from everybody at Western Mustangs TV to every Marshall, have a happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Guys.
Do we have guys?
It's game day. Today, tomorrow, every day. And Game Face is our only face. We're not normal. Normal doesn't run everywhere or take a stopwatch to everything. Normal doesn't dedicate itself to never letting its customers down. Not a single one. Never, ever, ever. Normal doesn't live to beat the rush. Obsessed about out-the-door times? That's not normal. Counting pepperoni in your sleep? Not normal. Normal is average. Normal is ordinary. Normal is what people expect. Normal doesn't have pizza sauce flowing through its veins. The other guy is normal. That's why no one delivers like we do.
After the final ball has flown, and the final catch made, and the last screaming fan has left the stadium, the ball is passed from one team member to the next so the players can sign their names. But of all the names, there is one on that ball that is perhaps the most important. That name is Wilson. Good luck this season.
Time. It lets us plan to dream, plan to learn, plan to succeed, plan to invest, Plan to enjoy. Plan to help. Plan to leave to others. The Plan by Investors Group, helping you provide for the people you care about, now and over time.
Making a name for himself playing football at the University of Toronto, Joe Breen had his education interrupted with the outset of World War I. Serving overseas with the Canadian Engineers from 1916 to 1919, he then returned to captain his team to a Grey Cup victory in 1920. An outstanding baseball player as well and brilliant two-way halfback on the gridiron, Breen went on to become a star player with the Toronto Parkdale Canoe Club and the Toronto Argonauts until his retirement due to a knee injury in 1925. With Western successfully gaining promotion of their intermediate football team to play in the Senior Intercollegiate Football League, they began a search for a new head coach. The hiring of Joe Breen gave the new senior team instant credibility. As expected, Breen and his players suffered through the School of Hard Knocks in their inaugural 1929 season, but the next year brought significant improvement as the team posted a 2-4 record while actually outscoring their opponents 19-17. The 1931 season saw the introduction of the forward pass to Canadian football, and the patience of Breen, along with his familiar rallying cry of "Hardy, Hardy, gang," from the sideline, spurred the Mustangs to a winning 4-2 record and the school's first senior intercollegiate title and prestigious Yates Cup. The team then met the ORFU champion Sarnia Imperials and had to advance to the Eastern Canadian Final if they'd won, but lost to the eventual Grey Cup champion Montreal Winged Wheelers. A tremendous accomplishment in only the third season of senior competition. The message was clear: the Mustangs had arrived. The following years were not as productive, but the Mustangs witnessed strong fan support. Breen resigned after the 1934 season due to his business commitments and turned his talents to refereeing in the pre-CFL Big Four League. In the business world, he became president of the Canadian Cement Company, but remained involved in football as one of the first inductees into the Canadian Football Hall of Fame in 1963. After that, he served on its selection committee until his death in 1978. Breen was also an administrator in amateur baseball and president of the Canadian Senior Golf Association, contributing factors to his induction into Canada's Sports Hall of Fame in 1975. Upon Breen's resignation from the Western football team, University President Sherwood Fox said, "It has always been most gratifying to me that when Western's senior football program began, it was under the guidance of a man of such character and ability as Joe Breen. His work and influence have enhanced the name and standing of the university. What he has accomplished for sportsmanship is of the highest standard and will live for many, many years." Joe Breen, a Mustang legend.
Historically, people have come to Western for a host of reasons. But in the end, it's always about becoming more. Our students, faculty, staff, and alumni have been in a perpetual state of transformation and growth since the founding of our school in 1878.
I came to Western to be challenged.
To become a force for change.
To discover new things.
I wanted to make business a real part of society.
I wanted to be a professional football player.
I was looking forward to being a top-level neuroscientist studying music with access to facilities that are available here and not anywhere else in the world.
I wanted to be one of the few graduates of a dual degree program with engineering and law.
I wanted to be both a physician as well as a researcher.
I wanted to build a group of students and researchers that would really be the leaders of tomorrow.
I wanted to be an engineer, but I wanted to be a terrific engineer.
I came to learn
I came to have some fun. I came to make myself a better person.
I wanted to be someone who really makes the most of life.
Our alumni who have done extraordinary things in Canada and throughout the world. Our brilliant researchers and faculty. And finally, our diverse and dynamic student body have all been shaped by the Western experience.
It's about coming to a place where you know you're going to learn and grow and really have a transformative experience and so much fun in the process.
I was just a little guy from Welland, Ontario. And when I got there, I found something that, I was the same as everybody else. And, I could learn from everybody else, and I could be part of a community that actually looked after everybody else. I felt that's what Western was all about.
One of the most fulfilling parts of my job is seeing the students coming in as raw students, as 18, a little afraid, a little nervous, and growing to be outstanding men and women and leaders in our community.
Western provided a really inclusive and supportive environment. The professors really wanted you to be the best that you could be.
Coming out with 2 degrees in 6 years is extraordinary.
I actually get to interact and work with patients from the hospital. The close collaboration between hospitals and the university at Western are really world-class.
Western University and the Rotman Institute in particular is truly extraordinary because it encourages and fosters collaborative relationships.
In the future, I'm really looking forward to where we can recruit even more top researchers, bringing them together and building bridges across the faculties. Western will become a world leader in neuroscience.
We want to bring these people who have already led space missions to other planets to help actually not just Western, but Canada to lead the next efforts in space.
What we do at Western is really build the leaders of tomorrow. We give them the tools, the skills, and the knowledge to do extraordinary things.
Our past successes, propelled by alumni gifts and support, show that Western can achieve the extraordinary. We must rise to the occasion. Western needs your support.
Western is inherently ambitious, and we know we have the potential to become one of the world's best universities.
We are a great university, but we want to become even better. We want to become globally recognized for all our activities.
Western needs to keep its competitive advantage, and that means driving our ambitions, driving our expectations, and all the help that we can get from our partners and our friends and our alumni will help us reach our ambitions of being one of the world's best universities.
So for me, it's pure and simple. We want to continue achieving greatness for Western. We have the potential to become one of the great universities of the world. That's why we're calling our campaign Be Extraordinary. It's time for all of us to get involved in the future of our university, faculty, staff, students, and especially our alumni. So together, let's be extraordinary.
Am I extraordinary?
Extraordinary. Extraordinary.
Am I extraordinary?
Well, now that you mention it,
We all know how this thing ends. Now let's talk about what got me here. Maybe it was when I made my post move. Or maybe it was at the line of scrimmage when I fought my way free. Or maybe it was before the play even started. That's when I told myself, when the ball is in the air, nobody brings it down but me.
Welcome back to TD Waterhouse Stadium. Just getting ready for the start of the second half here. Western leads 35-6 at the half. The stats at the half: Stevenson Bone passing 11 of 16 for 153. Garrett Sanvito 12 carries, 120 yards on the ground. And leading the way through the air, George Johnson has 6 catches for 79 yards and a touchdown. Bone also has a rushing touchdown, as does Yana Carew. On the Laurier side, James Fracas 9 of 15 for 111 yards and a pick on the very first throw of the game. Dylan Campbell, who averages 202 yards a game, 10 rushes for 62 yards at the half. Western's D has done a good job of containing him.
Absolutely, and there's the story of the game, I think, when you look at the defensive line for Western, holding Campbell to those yards, and then you look at Western's rushing totals, 285 yards in the first half, and Garrett Sanvito contributing 120. He's had a great first half.
Sinclair returning the kickoff to about the 26. And that's where Western will begin. They drove down the field in about 30 seconds at the end of the first half. They got the ball at their own 10 with 58 seconds left, and they drove it 100 yards, including a 67-yard over 2 runs at the end of it by Stevenson Bone, including a very elusive 47-yarder to set up what was a 20-yard rushing touchdown for Bone. And they start from their own 36 here to start the second half. It's a run. Sanvito to the 28, perhaps. Now it's actually Yana Carew, pardon me. Gains 3.
Gained 3 yards, so a little bit of an adjustment there by the Laurier Golden Hawks with their defense, limiting that first down play to 3 yards. And now I see a flag down on the field, and I'm not sure why. It was thrown by an official way back here in the backfield. It'll be important for Western here. They come out in the second half with a 35-6 lead, but they got to make sure that they take care of the football in the second half. And they have to make sure that they keep playing football for another 30 minutes. You've got to keep the tempo up. You've got to make sure you're getting better on each play and executing and trying to improve your offensive and defensive systems throughout the whole game.
So Western will get some yards on the penalty there, brings it up to the 36. The handoff now. It's going to be Haru to about the 38. And that's going to only be a couple. Good job by the Laurier front line these first couple plays of bottling up Yana Carew. Quickly we go down to the sideline. John Urban.
Thank you again, Christian. Just to let you know, Dylan Campbell, what did he need? 58 yards. In the first half, he picked up 62 net. So congratulations to Dylan Campbell, the new Laurier Football Program all-time single-season rushing leader. Congratulations, guys.
Congratulations indeed, Dylan Campbell. What a season he's had so far. Bone has Marshall open, and he's got him to the 51.
Well, great protection for Stevenson Bone sitting back there. He took the snap from center. Stayed in the pocket well, saw Brian Marshall run the deep out to the wide side of the field and had plenty of time to throw the ball. So credit to the offensive line giving him that time to throw.
Gain of 13 on second down, and now first down. Bone, he'll hand it off. Haru, though, nowhere to go. And Haru has had really nowhere to go in the first few touches of this second half. 3 carries now for only 4 yards to start this third quarter.
No, he ran right into the arms of the linebacker playing their number 11, Nakasis Onyeki, and he made a great play, and Laurier's come out and said, you're not going to run it on us right away.
Make him beat him through the air. Bone will pass it on 2nd and 9, or maybe not. Oh, he was flushed out of the pocket. That could be a late hit, and it will be. Just an undisciplined play there by Laurier's. The throw was intended for Tom Marshall as Bone was flushed out of the pocket. A late decision to throw. Pretty close to the line of scrimmage. Might have been over it. But then after Marshall dropped it, he was popped.
He certainly was, and Stevenson Bone made a good adjustment. Ran out of the pocket, couldn't find the open receiver, and then spotted Tommy and tried to get him the ball. Tommy not successful with the catch and took a late hit, which now moves the chains. But
Take a look. Bone flips it to Marshall, and then real late on the play there. It's Brandon Calver coming in late. Really unnecessary.
Right, that's one, former London player hitting another London player from their high school days.
Multiple seconds after the ball was there. Bouncing outside Haru. Can he get the corner? Flag goes down. Haru may have gotten back to the line of scrimmage. And it looks like they're going to call a horse collar on Laurier. So second straight play where Laurier gives away 15 yards.
That's an unfortunate break for Laurier. They really defended that play well. They stuffed it at the line of scrimmage. We got no movement on the right side of the offensive line, and then 3 or 4 players corralled him and unfortunately ended up grabbing him by the collar at the back, one of them, and caused a penalty, which was really not necessary because they had stopped the play.
And it didn't even impact the play. The tackle on the play was not a horse collar. One guy who missed a tackle happened to just grab the collar for a split second, and that was enough as the head official saw it. And it was enough to get the penalty wide open over the middle, and that's another touchdown. This time it's Sinclair.
That looked too easy, honestly. It was a great read by Stevenson Bone. Adam Sinclair just ran a post route down the middle. He wasn't picked up at all from the line of scrimmage. Had to be a blown coverage there. He was all alone, and Stevenson Bone found him, threw a perfect pass, and Adam Sinclair runs into the end zone untouched.
Absolutely no help over the top there as Sinclair walked through the middle and no safety there to pick him up. Easy play for Bone to hit him in stride. And you can see who's at the top. Nobody. Nobody at all. Sinclair walks in. Medeiros punches the extra point through, and it's 42-6 as the Mustangs take the opening drive of the third quarter down the field for 7 points.
Well, the Mustangs did okay on that drive in the sense that they had some running plays that weren't as successful as the first half, and Laurier looked like they had, made the right adjustments to slow down the run. But the reason that drive continued was on 2 different occasions there were penalties. So Laurier played good defense, but caused the penalties really helped that drive.
The OUA Athletes of the Week brought to you by Pioneer Energy are Vincent Chan and Valerie Ushanova. Chan closed out his season with a performance to remember at the OUA Tennis Championships in London. He won the singles gold medal, while Ushanova is a fourth-year student from Etobicoke who captured her second singles gold medal in the past 3 seasons and helped York win its first OUA team championship in tennis since 2003. Congrats to this week's Pioneer Energy Athletes of the Week. Medeiros boots the kickoff down to the goal line. Ouellette will field it right there. And now Ouellette will try to get a decent return here, and he will get to the 26-yard line. And Ouellette's done a good job returning kicks so far today for the Golden Hawks.
Right, bit of a miscommunication between the 2 return men, but Ouellette finally makes the catch right on the goal line and then has a great run up to the 25-26. Some of the Western players coming down were just arm tackling, and you have to do a better job in terms of trying to get a person down, but rather than just stick out your arm and hope that it brings them down.
First drive of the second half for Laurier. Last drive of the first half, they managed to get a long field goal from Ronnie Pfeffer, but they trail 42-6. Dylan Campbell gets the handoff up the middle, and he'll run for about 5.
Well, they were successful there in turning Darryl Watt out to the right side, and Campbell waited for the block and got inside that and picked up 5 yards on the first down.
On the whole, a decent job by the Mustangs D to contain Campbell. He's had a couple double-digit yard runs, but for the most part, he's been held to about 5 or less yards per carry. Second down and about 5 here. From their own 32, Fracas waves the receivers. Back to pass. Throws it high, but it's caught. And that looks to be a first down, and it will be for Marcus Arkarakis.
Good throw and catch between the quarterback and the receiver. He runs a stop route about 7 yards, enough to get the first down and move the chains.
Short yardage play, but just enough. Get to the 38 and a first down. Fracas Hands it off. It's not Campbell, though. For the first time today, someone else other than Campbell gets a handoff. It's Eric Giltonen, who has 12 rushes for 48 yards on the season coming into tonight. Gets his first touch of the game and gains 5.
Right, they reached around the left end of Western's defense. Jeff Brooks, playing the will linebacker, was able to chase him out of bounds after a 5-yard gain.
2nd down and 5. After Giltonen picks up 5. Receivers in motion. Fracas back to pass. Throws the out route. Bit of contact. No call as Campbell had really only one hand to go and get that ball. Incomplete and 3rd down now, though Hawks will punt.
Right, trying to hit him. He ran a good route. Malcolm Brown had good coverage on the play and was able to interfere with him enough to make sure the catch didn't happen and not to get a flag.
Another missed opportunity we could point back to in the first half was Laurier going for it on a fake punt at midfield when they had a chance to pin Western deep. And it turned out to be a bad idea because they ended up losing yardage on the fake punt, and Western went on to score on that drive. This punt fielded by San Vito, knocked down at the 39. Again, another close call in terms of no yards, but again, Laurier is not called for it, and Western will start.
Well, Justin Sanvito does a good job fielding the punt on the go. But Christian, between you and me, there were clearly guys within the 5-yard zone, and it should be called. And really, the officials have to do that. They need to protect the punt returners so they don't take hellacious hits on punt returns. And those are things that, you know, they should be looking for and calling.
And that's really the reason the no yards penalty exists, is to protect the punt returner, give him a cushion so we can safely field the punt. Sinclair gets the ball, bounces ahead for about 3.
Right, I think it took too long for that play to develop. There was some good movement up front by the right side of the defensive line for Laurier, and as a result, people were able to chase it down from the backside and tackle at him before he could really get turned up. Now looking at what, 2nd and 7.
More challenging distance. Bone back to pass. Bone. Oh, that came out a little funny, but Brian Marshall went and got it for a 1st down. We go down to John Urban on the sideline.
Thank you, Christian. Nigel, I'm wondering if you got a bit of a chill walking into TD Waterhouse today, as the Vanier Cup is here, making one of its stops across its Canadian tour. Both of these teams have had some Vanier Cup history. Laurier's been to the championship game 5 times and have won it twice. Western a record 12 times, and they've won it 6 times, but it's hard to believe. Laurier actually went a perfect 12-0 on their way to winning the 41st Vanier Cup in 2005. You have to go back 20 years ago when the Purple and White hosted the famous championship in 1994. Guys?
It's been a surprisingly long time since Western's captured that trophy. They've had a number of successful seasons where they've won Yates Cup titles but have been unable to get all the way to that championship. Hoping to do it again this year. They've got a good team, and they're doing pretty good tonight. Bone hands it off on 2nd and 1, and Garrett Sanvito only needed 1 instead, picks up 12.
Well, there's, again, great blocking up front by the right side of the line for Western, with both Jameson and Meredith doing great jobs. Eddie Meredith.
The big offensive line has done a fantastic job tonight blocking for the Western Mustangs runners. The pitch to Sanvito on the outside. Good open field tackle by number 21, Chris Aki.
Well, there they go, pull the guard, Sean Jameson, and lead him around the right side, and Garrett Sanvito's following him. The play before, he followed a great block by Tommy Marshall going up inside, and Tommy Marshall flattened someone and allowed Garrett to get, 5-6 extra yards. So the boys up front, including the fullback, doing some great blocking for Garrett.
2nd and 5. Bone gives it to Sanvito, and he escapes initially the first tackle in the backfield from Aki, but there were too many Hawks there, and it looks like Medeiros will get another field goal try.
Well, it's starting to become a familiar pattern. We Western's able to move the ball down the field, and Laurier stiffens up on defense and prevents them from going all the way, and now we're looking at another field goal attempt.
Yeah, attempt. We can't say it's good until it goes through. We saw that earlier with Pfeffer. We thought he was automatic, and he missed a 33-yarder. Zach Medeiros now, he's 4 for 4 on the day. This one will be from 27 yards out. And it's a handoff to Medeiros. He's got to get to the edge. He escapes one, but he can't get two. A fake field goal. Bone with the handoff to Medeiros, who wasn't quite quick enough to get to the edge. They go for the fake field goal. It doesn't work. Western still leads 42-6.
I'm going to say, Christian, that was not a planned fake. I think there was something that happened. I'll have to check the replay between the snap and the hold, and I think it was just an ad lib.
We'll check when we come back.
My Western experience so far has been phenomenal.
My experience at Western this far has been unforgettable.
Astounding.
Unique.
Very memorable.
And it kind of just picks you up in week one and says, get out here, don't be afraid to be yourself.
Western really lives up to the #1 student experience.
You really get the sense that you are part of something here.
What I love about this place is that everybody here loves it. Everyone takes pride in being a Western Mustang.
Yes, you come to university to learn and study, but as well you're here for the other things that the university offers.
Being part of clubs, being part of teams.
Western is this great campus, and there are so many opportunities.
Everything is there for you. When you see the juggling club, you see the dancing clubs, you just see everything you could possibly want.
I want to experience something new, and I want to try things that I've never tried before.
To meet new people, meet great professors.
Professors here are awesome.
They tend to be interested in what you're interested in.
And they really try hard to make you feel welcome.
The importance of having this student experience is really that it's something that's going to last you for the rest of your life.
When I think of Western, everything is possible.
I want everybody to have, the same great experience that I've had here.
And when I stepped on Western campus, it just felt right.
Back at TD Waterhouse Stadium, we'll get another look at that fake field goal attempt after Laurier runs a first down play here. An interesting call when you're up 42-6. Fracas hands it off to Campbell, and he runs into a wall of Mustangs at the line of scrimmage, nowhere to go, and Campbell's had a tough time getting it going today, still has about 71 yards on the ground.
Well, great defense there by number 75, Rupert Butchard.
Take another look at the fake field goal. You see Bone kind of just slowly got up and handed it off to Medeiros there, and Medeiros did not have the speed to get to the outside against the defenders.
Well, it looked like the snap started and the kicker made no motion to try to come up. I don't know if he wasn't paying attention or...
Maybe that was the play. I don't know, it didn't look too natural. And Fracas is brought down in the backfield, and that is Ricky Osikusi in the backfield to get his third sack of the season.
Good pressure by Western's number 7, Ricky Osikusi, making a good move to beat his man, getting in on the quarterback before he has time to set up and throw the ball. Ricky's played great the last 2 games and really showing his presence as an outstanding defensive end.
A loss of 9 on the play, and it looks like this would be another situation where Laurier would concede the safety in their own end zone. And that's exactly what happens with 6:46 to go. Another safety conceded, 44-6. Good stand by the Mustangs there, just 2 and out after the fake field goal went awry. So you don't think it was a called play, that fake field goal?
I'm hoping it wasn't. I'll have to really watch it on the monitors carefully. I just saw the end of it. I don't know if you could see exactly what Stevenson was doing.
It didn't look natural, really.
No, not at all. It looks like he's coming down for the
kick, and I don't know if Medeiros was really expecting that or if that was the call, but it didn't really have a chance to succeed from the start.
Maybe they're thinking, well, if we put it in, it shows our opponents that they have to prepare for it.
I don't think opponents are worried about that one. Bone, though, going deep. And Marshall again goes and gets it. Brian Marshall is making life easier for his quarterback today by making those kinds of catches.
Right, he's just running the corner route. Stevenson throws it up high and outside, and Brian Marshall is able to get underneath it. He's working now against Ben Miller, number 13. I was a little worried that the safety was going to come over and actually get to the ball.
21-yard gain on first down. Bone keeps it on first down here. Stevenson Bone gets about 5. Down to the 48-yard line. Gain of 6 on the designed run there for Bone.
Well, he's following the right tackle, Eddie Meredith, and Eddie makes a good block. Stevenson reads it, comes upfield, and now they're looking at 2nd and 5.
It's getting quite chilly outside now. It's down to about 6 degrees. Throw to Tom Marshall. Didn't quite get the first down. Looks like he'll be maybe half a yard shy. 3rd and short, and you know the Mustangs will go for it here. Especially up 38. One of the strongest rushing attacks in the country. They average 350 yards on the ground every game, 333 yards passing. And that was the procedure on the Mustangs. They go over the line before the whistle blows. There'll be a 5-yard penalty. Male Athlete of the Week this week is Christian Douglas, a men's soccer player, 30-year kin student from Oakville. He scored 3 goals in 2 games, helping the Mustangs defeat the Windsor Lancers and Brock Badgers as the Mustangs moved into 3rd place in the OUA West Division. It's the 2nd straight week that Douglas has been named Western's Male Athlete of the Week. Also got the award for a 2-goal game against Waterloo on September 28th. Christian Douglas, your Mustangs Male Athlete of the Week. As it's 3rd down now and 7, so the Mustangs, instead of going for it, will decide to punt. And Carson Ouellette back to receive. Averages about 8.5 yards per return. Going for max protection here. Gets the kick away. It's a high kick. Ouellette fields it at the 11. He's got nowhere to go, runs into his own player, and his knee touched. There'll be a return of only 3 on the play, and that's not what they wanted.
Well, it was a good high kick, allowing the coverage team plenty of time to get downfield. He was well surrounded, so good job there by the punt coverage team.
4:49 to go in the 3rd quarter. Playing a rare Thursday night game ahead of Thanksgiving weekend. Western after this will get a bit of a longer break, which they can definitely, they definitely want that with all the bodies they have sitting out this game, trying to recover. Fracas on first down. He'll keep it himself. Kind of waits for it to develop, but only gets maybe 2 yards on the play.
Wasn't much place for him to run the football there. And
no. Elsewhere tonight, Bishops and McGill out east playing. The only other game in CIS action. They're tied at 10 late in the 3rd quarter.
Well, we've got a gorgeous full moon over the stadium here tonight, Christian. It's quite an impressive sight here.
Beautiful fall night here in London. Fracas going deep. And that is going to be off the helmet there of Greg Nyhoff. And incomplete.
Well, they had Western coming with a half blitz, defensive halfback blitz on the left side here. Malcolm Brown coming in trying to get to the quarterback. They get rid of the ball, and then he throws a good ball up high, and Western's in man coverage. Calvin Johnson is coverage on the play, but it looks like he pulled up a little and got a hamstring. There's that full moon getting ready. I mean, that's just gorgeous sight, shining down over the stadium. Great camera shot.
Nothing quite like football in the fall.
Nothing quite like it on the Thursday before Thanksgiving, when you're thinking about how much we have to be thankful for and and I can already smell the turkeys.
Can't wait. Calvin Johnson hobbles off the field as he pulled up holding his hamstring on that last play. That's just another guy Western doesn't want to see go down.
No, you just mentioned it, Christian, about how this little break that the players are going to get is really going to be helpful for the Western coaches trying to nurse this team back to health. And there you see one of your starters come off with limping, and that's not a good sign.
Western doesn't play again until the 18th against Guelph. That's in Guelph, their last road game of the regular season. And Guelph's playing very good football this year. Perhaps another safety conceded, or will they actually kick it this time? They will kick it. Pfeffer from his 4. Boots it up to midfield and backpedaling and catching it at his own 49 is Justin Sanvito. Avoids a couple tackles before going down to the Laurier 52. 3:21 left on the clock. It's 44-6. The Mustangs on top. Will be back with more third quarter action on Mustangs TV after this.
The other day someone said to me, for every door there is a key, and on the other side there's what will be. What will be? Side, there's what will be.
When you find the one and only, there's nothing like it.
Back at TD Waterhouse Stadium, Mustangs have the ball inside Laurier territory, and they have a 44-6 lead late here in the third quarter. Bone in the shotgun. Pitches it out to Sanvito. He's got a lot of space on the outside, and Garrett Sanvito gets down to the 34 before getting knocked down. A nice gain on first down as we go down to the sideline, and John Urban.
Thanks once again, Christian. Calvin Johnson had some tightness in his left hamstring. As you can see just over my left shoulder, they were actually working on him on the table. He's now off the table, trying to get it, that little bit of tightness out so he can come back into this game. But I actually want to throw this question back to you, Nigel. You're in a game, you're really late. The score is, obviously all but done at 38-plus point lead here at this point of the juncture of the contest. Do you start playing it a bit more safe and putting more of your backup players in?
Well, it's an interesting question, and it's there are some answers that can go both ways. There's the argument that you want your starters to make sure they get a full game under their belt. They need to play, make sure that they're keeping their game reps up. And in the same breath, you say, well, the kids that back up, they deserve a chance to play, and that comes into play as well. It's sometimes a tough decision. Either decision makes sense, and, up to the coach to make that.
And then Stevenson Bone right into the waiting arms of Brian Marshall for a 29-yard touchdown pass. Beautifully thrown, and Brian Marshall has been solid all night, and he finally gets a touchdown reception.
Well, Brian runs a post route down through the middle. He beats his man, and Stevenson threw a perfect pass, and Brian was alone in the end zone. But back to that other question, posed earlier by John about what do you do? You take a look at the score. There's a number of things. People say just put the backups in, but these guys train 12 months a year, and they train so they get to play in the game, and they want to play in the game, and they want to be part of the process. And I guess it sounds all right as long as they don't get injured, but if they start to get injured, then you might as well say goodbye to that argument.
Well, you've got a 51-6 advantage here. The game really had a question. And, I mean, we could see Blake Huggins maybe. I know Stevenson Bone making his first start and probably relishing every moment of it here. Maybe not so much Bone, but especially some of the defensive starters where we've seen a number of guys, McNair, Poulin, go down. We see Johnson pull up there. I know they've got 10 days before their next game, but you don't want to risk anything now when you know you're going to win the game. It is a tough question because you know these guys all want to play. Medeiros, 2:23 to go in this third quarter. Medeiros boots it down to the 2. It's Arkarakis who gets to about the 25 before he's driven out of bounds. 23-yard return. Averages about 50 or 33 yards per return, so a good job again of the Mustangs cover team of making sure he doesn't get too much on that one.
Again, a good deep kick from Zach Medeiros, and the coverage team did their job keeping them down to the 25-yard line.
The Mustangs will try to play some more stout defense as they've done for the majority of this ball game. Fracas back to pass, flushed out, and he'll take off with it. Fracas caught from behind there. A gain of about 4. He's brought down by Preston Huggins.
Again, great pass rush from Ricky Osikusi, forcing Fracas to leave the pocket, and he escapes, gets upfield, but middle linebacker Preston Huggins chased him down and limited it to him 5-yard gain.
Good pursuit there from Huggins. 2nd down and 5. We're at the point now where you wonder if you just go for 3rd down on everything, no matter where you are on the field. Fracas to pass. Double clutches, has a man open over the middle. It's Nyhoff, and Nyhoff escapes down to the Western 52. A nice gain there as they work the cross pattern to great success.
Well, I'd like to see that again because he was so wide open. I don't know if they ran the pick pattern or whether he wasn't picked up, but there was no one within 15 yards of him as he came underneath from the right side of the field, and looks like there was a pick out there.
Brown got caught somewhere on the other side and was not there to stick with him.
It was executed well by Laurier. They ran a really nice route action there to cause that.
Campbell gets a handoff, runs straight up the middle, and gets about 4. We'll take a look at that last play again where Nyhoff gained some nice yards.
Well, there you see the inside receiver deviate from his route, forcing Malcolm Brown to make a decision. Malcolm Brown came underneath the other player, thus leaving his guy wide open. So very well designed play from Laurier, and those two receivers executed it perfectly.
One of the nicer drives we've seen in some time from the Golden Hawks here as they've pushed themselves inside the Western 50. Fracas alone in the backfield. Steps up, throws to the sideline. It's a bit high. It's intended for Pizzuti, but that throw is just too high.
Well, I think Western made a good adjustment there. You know, previously they'd been left in man coverage and were getting picked, and this time they showed man, then dropped off into zone. Malcolm Brown was sitting out there in the flat, and I'm not sure Fracas knew that it was zone, and I don't think the ball should have been thrown there.
That's a tough throw all the way across the field to run the sideline pattern.
Right.
And it would have only gained about 9 on the, or not even 9, maybe about barely to the 1st down marker. So you're throwing it about 25 yards to gain 8. They're going to punt it on 3rd down. Almost blocked. May have been actually. And it's fielded. No one there. And now with lots of space to go, and a lot more space to go, Trevor Lass all the way to the house for the touchdown. On a blocked punt, he was the only one there, no one around him, and Lass goes all the way for the score.
Well, an exciting play for Trevor Lass, but give credit to Alex May, who broke up the middle, and I believe got his hand on the ball, causing it to go about 20 yards, falling into the hands of a wide open Trevor Lass. The coverage team had already passed him, and he had clear sailing to the end zone. I wasn't sure if he was going to make it over those last 15 yards.
They caught it at the 35, and he just had a bunch of blockers waiting to take him all the way. Wow. Off the tip, punt, a special team score for the Mustangs.
Well, that's nice for the special team players and coach, because they always work hard, and they had a rough game last week, and it's really nice to see them come back and have a big play.
And that'll be the last play of the third quarter. A punt return touchdown for Trevor Lass. A 75-yarder at that. 58-6 after 3 quarters of play. The Mustangs rolling here at TD Waterhouse Stadium. It's Thursday Night Football in London. The Mustangs comfortably ahead as we go to the fourth on Mustangs TV.
Build anything with the redesigned 2014 Toyota Tundra. Tough enough for any project.
Law has just always been a passion of mine. It's something I've known I've wanted to do since I was a little kid. There was never anything that was going to stop me from coming to law school and from becoming a lawyer. My dad was always my #1 support. Like all good parents, he wanted the things for his kids that he could never have. Being a student that has always demonstrated financial need, it's been difficult to feel like there's been somebody to help you, and for the first time when I received this money, it felt like somebody had given me a break. I don't know if there are words that could convey how grateful and how impactful their donation was and what it's done for me. It affects me every day in everything I do, in my school, in my personal life. Knowing that we would have this money changed both of our lives. Thank you for supporting Student Dreams.
Back in London, fourth quarter action of the Laurier Golden Hawks taking on the Western Mustangs. The last play of the third quarter, a blocked punt returned 75 yards for a touchdown by Trevor Lass. We'll take another look at that after this kickoff from Zach Medeiros. It's fielded in the end zone. His best kick of the day for sure. Flying out of the end zone, though, is Marcus Arkarakis. Well covered again, though, down the field as they will start about the 20-yard line, a return of 24 for Arkarakis. Take a look at this return. Lass just catches the tipped ball, but the coverage team didn't know it was blocked and overran the kick. And there was no one there to get Lass. It was about 6 Mustangs convoying Lass, guiding him to the end zone. No one came close to touching him, Nigel.
Not at all. It was a gift.
Mm-hmm. Just the kind of night Western's had. You've mentioned a couple times the lucky tips here and there, and that one was certainly a good break. Over the middle, Arkarakis, a big gainer there. On first down, they pick up 26 yards.
Well, they've had success with their crossing routes throughout the game, and They bring the receivers from the wide side of the field, and one of them crosses through the middle. The others provide some nice picks. Well designed, excellent offensive play, and Western is yet to make an adjustment to sort of stop that in terms of one of the more successful plays that Laurier's had all day.
They're picking up some good yardage on crossing routes these last few possessions. That one wasn't so much a pick play. This one, Campbell, the counter, may have gotten back to the line of scrimmage. We go down to John Urban on the sideline. John.
Thanks once again, Christian, here on the sidelines behind Western's bench. And one thing is for sure, Trevor Lass is having a complete 180 than he had last week. He was trying to replace Jesse McNair at the safety position. In fact, early in that contest against McMaster, he was physically poked in the eye on an attempted hit. They sat him down right here on this table and tried to regain his vision, and he just couldn't do it. Safe to say the eyes are working, though, tonight, guys.
The eyes, the legs, everything on that last return. Just a little hitch route, and it looks like they'll get enough for the first down as Scott Campbell gains 11.
Well, again, they're executing the hitch route to perfection. They were able to successfully block the corner, Simon Baru, and get the ball to the inside receiver and move the chains again.
Scott Campbell, who had a 71-yard rushing touchdown last week, gets about 11 yards and an easy procedure call there. Greg Nyhoff tried to stop his momentum, hop skipped, and he knew he was over the line.
Tough break as they were moving the ball well, and now they're taking a look at 1st and 15.
8th penalty on the day for 85 yards for Wilfrid Laurier. Possession time has been just about even, but Western has run more plays, and the yardage, there's a huge disparity. Coming into the fourth, Western 613 yards, Laurier 213 yards, 400 extra.
Huge difference in terms of real estate.
Mainly on the ground. 346 rushing yards for Western tonight, only 100 for Laurier as a team. That includes Dylan Campbell, who's gained 73 of those. Fracas bobbles the ball and decides to just take off on his own. It is first down. He'll gain the penalty yardage back on first down after he bobbled the snap, trying to get the ball into throwing position.
Well, we've seen Fracas do that a number of times. That is, escape well from the pocket, get up into the middle of the Western defense, and successfully gain yardage. He got 10 there, and now facing a 2nd and 5.
They're approaching field goal range if they so choose. Down by 52. I don't know if you're inclined to kick a field goal. We'll have to see what this dictates. Fracas, they run a screen. Campbell's got some space, and he's got blockers. Campbell to the outside. Campbell spinning inside the 20 down to the 18, and that is a perfectly executed screenplay on 2nd and 5.
Yeah, it looked like a great play. They had it set up well, and you can see what a gifted runner he is when he is in the open field. Makes people miss him.
They got the rush. They drew them in, and great job by Fracas to just flip it over the top into Campbell's arms. Gains 25 there. Into the red zone, the Golden Hawks go. Fracas back to pass. Pressure coming. Over the middle. Has a man, and it's a touchdown for Greg Nyhoff. First touchdown of the day for the Golden Hawks. And for the Western Mustangs, it's just a time of game where you don't want to see your defense get too complacent.
Well, the call wasn't a complacent call. He brought Coach Gleason brought a blitz, and he brought the blitz, and it was a strange play. I don't know if we can see it again, but they brought the outside linebacker, Jeff Brooks, who had a clear shot at the quarterback, and now just looked like to me like he let up and didn't hit the quarterback, which allowed him time to throw to Nyhoff, who's running a post and just beat man-on-man coverage. But I'd like to see what happened to that linebacker as he had a free.
So here's the touchdown play.
And there you see Jeff Brooks. He comes through here. He's got a clear run at the quarterback. The quarterback hasn't even set up, and now he sort of decelerates.
He did.
He decelerates. It was like, oh, I don't want to hit you. And if he had just accelerated, he would have unloaded. I mean, look, he's slowing down as he's getting close to the quarterback, and that's not what you want to see from your defensive personnel, and I'm sure they'll point that out on the films when they watch.
Not that he's worried about a pump faker running. You just got to look at the body and go right into him. But for Laurier, their first touchdown of the day. 58-13 now, Western ahead. In action tomorrow in the OUA, there's a couple games. Ottawa is at Windsor as the kickoff is dropped there by Adam St. Clair. Picks it up, recovers, still on his feet, still running. Adam St. Clair hurdles a man and gets down to the 33. Bit of a dangerous play by St. Clair there. The hurdle there, you never know what's going to happen once you get airborne.
No, it is a dangerous play to leave your feet on the football field, and Adam makes a good return out of first not handling the reception very well, and it's dropping at his feet, but he does make up some good yardage and gets the ball down to the 35-yard line of Western.
A slippery runner, Adam St. Clair. It's hard to get down. Like I was saying, Ottawa, Windsor tomorrow night, and then Carleton, who's been quite the bipolar team so far this year. They will head to Guelph. Carleton beat Ottawa, got knocked around 53-3 by these Laurier Golden Hawks, gave up 49 completions and 548 yards passing to Simon Nassar of Toronto, yet still won by 3 touchdowns last week. The ball's on the ground meanwhile here, and Laurier has recovered, just not the start the Mustangs are looking for here in this fourth quarter. A touchdown conceded, and then a fumble the first play offensively.
Well, that's a tough play for Western, but a heads-up play by Laurier. Western had just substituted a rookie running back, number 5, Alex Taylor, into the game. He took the handoff from Stevenson Bone and got hit and consequently fumbled the ball after about an 8-9 yard gain. So tough play for the young man from Winnipeg.
First-year runner's had a good impact so far this season. Dylan Campbell breaks free. Dylan Campbell trips over his own 2 feet, it looks like, as he gets to the 17-yard line, as Laurier suddenly pushing the ball down the field with relative ease here in the fourth quarter.
Well, they're having success with getting the defensive linemen out of the way, and remember, most of the game, Western's D-line has been there, and once they clear the D-line, the linebackers are not being able to make any of the tackles on this runner.
First down, Campbell up the middle, still pushing, and eventually they'll blow the whistle after he gains 5.
Well, there's 11 minutes left in the game. The game, as far as the points, who's going to win, is over, but there's still a lot of time left, and you don't want to see this happen to your defense. You don't want players being pushed around.
Dylan Campbell, you know he's going to continue to run hard. Kind of a play fake there as Fracas throws it to the sideline, and getting 2 feet in bounds there, Marcus Arkarakis, down to the 6-yard line. A nice job keeping his feet in bounds. Arkarakis for the first down.
Well, number 31 for Western, Jordan Beaulieu, is playing at the halfback position on the short side because they had to move Malcolm Brown over to the wide side of the field when Calvin Johnson went down with an injury.
The handoff is to Campbell, and he is into the end zone for a touchdown. 2 scores in only a couple minutes for the Golden Hawks here.
Well, there's credit to Laurier. They took the ball. Their offensive line was moving people. It really looked like they wanted that touchdown. They were blocking well. Campbell was running really well. And right at the end, I mean, you watch that, you see Campbell determined. He's in the arms of the middle linebacker, but his legs are moving, and he just lowered his shoulder and carried the middle linebacker in the last 1 or 2 yards of the play. So great drive by Laurier. They really knocked around Western's defense on that drive.
Extra point is good from Pfeffer. Number 1 in Canada in terms of a lot of rushing categories. The 11th touchdown this year from Dylan Campbell.
Well, you see that from an offensive point of view, you say great play by your running back. He's met at the 3-yard line by the other defense's middle linebacker, and he carries him into the end zone. So offensively, you go, what a great run by that young man. And then if you're the Western coach on the defensive side, you say, my middle linebacker met him at the 3-yard line, and it was a touchdown. That's not what you want to see. But give credit to Campbell for, I mean, he's a great runner, and he got it into the end zone.
Suddenly, Laurier has 20, starting to make the score look a lot more respectable here. early in the fourth quarter. Like you said, still just under 11 minutes left, tons of time.
And they scored quickly. I mean, it wasn't like it was a methodical long drive. They just marched it down and knocked people off the ball physically.
Sinclair at the 13. Sinclair down to the 28-yard line, and that's where Western will start their next drive.
Well, you don't want turnovers on one side of the ball, and on the other side, if you do get a turnover, what do you want to do with it? Score, and that's exactly what the Golden Hawks did. So give them credit for taking the turnover and putting it in the end zone for 7 points.
As they huddle up for first down, John Urban has an update.
Thank you very much, Christian. The Western Mustangs coming into this contest outscored their opponents 265 points to 62, and it looks like they're doing a good job of keeping up with that pace today. Although it is a full moon, and if you can see, you can start to see the breath as it's starting to get a little chilly here on our Thursday night, and Dylan Campbell decided to warm up, so it's anybody's contest.
Well, that's pretty wishful thinking there, John. If they keep scoring at this pace, they might catch up. They're still down 38 points. And there's Mr. Taylor maybe redeeming himself after the first down fumble last drive, gains 12 on his next touch.
Well, good for Coach Marshall going back to the young man and giving him a chance to hold the ball and redeem himself, and he picks up 12 yards.
Alex Taylor, first year out of Winnipeg, 5'10", 207 pounds. Solidly built. Coming into today, 8 carries for 95 yards and a touchdown. Though that is his second lost fumble of the season on only 10 touches. Something maybe to worry about, but again, young player, just starting out in the game, and that's something that they could work on with time.
That's something you certainly hope so. He is a first-year player, and the game's played at a different speed at the CIS level, and different strength, different physical toughness in the game, and when you get hit, you better know how to hold on to the football.
Absolutely. First down. Bone ran the last one. He's going to pass this one. Airs it out, and it is caught by Brian Marshall. Mr. Reliable today.
Very much so, and great pass protection there. Stevenson Bone took the snap, moved to his left. The pocket was set up. He had all kinds of time to throw, and he threw a dart because it was into coverage, but he threw it in the only place where Brian could make the catch.
Taylor up the middle, gains about 4.
Well, it was a quick opener there, and initially it looked like it was going to go somewhere, but number 91, Asante Misen, made a great tackle and prevented him from going any further.
You know, we've seen Brian Marshall get banged up this last couple weeks, and he was a game-time decision today. Gets in the lineup, and here he is still in the fourth quarter playing for the Mustangs, despite the fact they have 58 points. And he's still in there on 2nd and 6. Taylor gets the pitch and has a lot of space. Taylor to the outside. Drops his shoulder and gets to the 18. Gain of 20 for the rookie.
Well, you can tell he's excited to be in the game. He wants to run into people, run around people. That time he took on number 21, Chris Aki, great football player for Laurier. And there you see shoulder to shoulder. First-year player meeting a fourth-year player.
Bone to Taylor again. This time, not much doing as he gets about 1.5 yards on the play.
Right, on that zone read there, Stevenson's reading the end, and the end really went down hard with the running back. And I'm not sure if he was told to hand off automatically or whether he did have the option, but the way the defensive end played that, Stevenson could have taken it out, and he had a lot of room to run.
This time he's going to keep it. Great block from Taylor to the end zone, knocked away. Good defensive play. And it's Aki on that one, on the coverage. Third down coming up. And we could see Taylor there. For a young running back, laid a nice block to give Bone some time. We can have another look.
Well, he did have time, and Justin Sanvito's running a corner route.
Watch number 5 here. Gets right in the way of the end. But well defended there by Aki.
Right, he's up over top behind Justin Sanvito. Justin had a good shot at the football. It would have been a tough catch.
This would be the 6th field goal of the game for Medeiros. He's 6 for 6. Special teams has been very impressive today for the Western Mustangs.
He sure did. John Bewald stepping in for David Mackey. Snapped the ball. It was high, and Stevenson Bone handled it well. He took it, placed it down, allowing Zach Medeiros time to get the kick through.
6 for 6. Western 61. Laurier 20. 8:12 to go. We'll be back with more on Mustangs TV.
Welcome to Golden Hawk Lake. Is this the new Toyota Highlander? Yep. Must feel like your own little world in here. I guess. Does this world of yours have a name? No. Ever look at the stars through your moonroof? I have. Ever wish upon them? No. Backup camera, like having eyes in the back of your head? A little. 1 or 2 eyes? It has a V6 engine, right? Yes, sir. Is it powerful? Definitely. Do you think I'm powerful? Possibly.
The all-new Toyota Highlander. One look, and you'll want to know more.
We're back at TD Waterhouse Stadium as the handoff is given to Lance Freeman. His first carry of the day. He's a fourth-year art student from Denver, Colorado. His 10th carry of the year.
Well, he showed some good speed, and Canop tearing down the line from his defensive tackle position certainly made a great play to stop him after 5 yards.
Fracas back to pass, looking for Arkarakis, and he got him. Looked like it was a short throw, but a good job by Arkarakis to get underneath that ball for the first down. Arkarakis, that's his 7th catch of the game, leading the way.
Here they go again, making first downs and moving the chains, and a good fourth quarter for the Laurier Golden Hawks offensively.
Fracas back to pass, over the middle, he's got another one. It's Nyhoff again, and that crossing pattern, wide open Nyhoff. A big gainer down to the 43-yard line.
Well, how many times do we have to see this play, Christian? Here they are. They got 3 receivers to the wide side of the field. 2 of them are going vertical, and the third one just comes underneath. It's been open all fourth quarter, and anytime they've wanted to get there, and they've been successful getting there.
Campbell, a first down run, gains about 10 after a 19-yard completion to Greg Nyhoff, who has 4 catches tonight for a touchdown, as well as 80 yards. Most of that damage done here in the fourth quarter.
Well, there you see what's happening is the offensive line for Laurier moving people back, and now Western's sort of, gassed.
Western Female Athlete of the Week is Lauren Winquist of the women's soccer team, a third-year med student from London. She recorded a hat-trick in Wednesday's 4-0 win over Windsor to help the Mustangs go undefeated for the week, topping the Lancers and playing to a 0-0 draw with Brock on Sunday. The two-time OUA All-Stars, 4 goals on the season, has helped the Mustangs to a CIS best 57 goals scored, and they've only allowed 3, a 54-plus goal differential. And that's your your Western Female Athlete of the Week. These are the OUA Football Athlete of the Week. We saw 2 of those players right here at TD Waterhouse Stadium as Nick Shorthill. We knew he was all over the field last week, and then Tyler Crapina set the all-time record for field goals made. Don't forget Simon Nassar. I mentioned him earlier talking about Carleton's defense. He set a CIS single game completion record, 49 completions out of 62 passes, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, 548 yards, and his team lost by 3 touchdowns. That kind of season for Toronto. A flag in the backfield after the play, a gain down to the 15. We'll see if this will count or not. It was thrown in the area as on the ground was Ryan Northfield, so I don't know if they're going to call some kind of unnecessary roughness, and they're going to. So a gain of 20 is going to come back, and they're going to basically lose 40 yards after that one because they had a 25-yard gain. They lose that and then 15 more.
Well, penalties have hurt Laurier some big plays because they threw a perfect strike. He's running a post pattern. He gets inside the corner. Corner was helpless to defend it. And I've said this throughout the fourth quarter. This is not the way you want to see your defense playing in a fourth quarter.
A completely unnecessary penalty, and John Urban's got an update.
Thank you very much, Christian. Andrew Petta came off of the field during that last drive for the Western Mustangs, and he appears to be okay. He's under his own power right now, talking to his teammates, and this kind of goes back to what you and I were talking about early, Nigel. Maybe it's just better off that he spends the rest of this game on the bench.
Well, it looked like he got winded, and when you're being pushed around on the field and pushed back, it's a lot safer position to be in, maybe.
So after the penalty yardage backs them up to the 48, this is 2nd and 15. That was very close to being offside on Laurier. A high pass is caught by Anthony Pizzuti, which cuts this distance in half, and it'll be 3rd and 7.
Well, he certainly had time to throw there. Western in his own defensive scheme that time. Didn't rush more than 3 people, and nobody was close to him. He had lots of time to throw the football.
Brings up the 3rd down and about 6. They're going to go for it. Nothing to lose at this point. Fracas has to get it out quickly. He does, and it's off the fingertips of Nyhoff. It'll be a turnover on downs as Nyhoff had a step there on Brown, but he was unable to hold the ball there. Off the fingertips, a turnover on downs.
Well, there's the gamble, right? The defense is calling all-out blitz. They're in man coverage on 3rd down. The receiver actually had a chance on the football. It was well thrown. He needs to make that catch and continue on. He had the inside position on the defender.
So Western takes over on downs. And now Blake Huggins into the game after Western put up 61 points with Stevenson Bone under the pivot. 5:40 to go. Huggins hands it off to Taylor, and he's brought down after a gain of only a couple.
Well, again, that's number 11, the linebacker, Nakas Onyeka, making a great tackle, number 11 for Laurier, negating that to 2 yards.
So now 2nd down. The Mustangs just trying to play this string out without getting anyone else hurt. 5 minutes left. They can run the ball down the field. They can take most of that clock down. Huggins will keep it himself. And he's brought down there after a loss of 1. Good play in the backfield there as Ben Miller was there. So was Stuart Smith, and a 2-and-out for the Mustangs.
Great play by Miller coming up from his safety position and making the tackle on the quarterback right at the line of scrimmage. So not much offense there from the Western Mustangs.
The punt coming from Zach Medeiros. Hasn't had many of these today. And it's a decent kick down to the 38. It'll bounce, and then stepping out of bounds with the ball is Ouellette. Probably could have just let that go, no real difference. And back out on the field come the Golden Hawks. They try to continue their impressive offensive showing here in the fourth quarter as they try to build some confidence heading into their break as well. They don't play again until the 18th as well. They head, though, to McMaster in their next game, their toughest game of the season. Imagine getting at Western and at McMaster in back-to-back weeks. That's a nightmare. I mean, you got to play them all eventually anyway, but have them play back-to-back, both on the road.
That is a tough order for the Laurier Golden Hawks, and coming off this loss might force them to spend a little more time in the film room and get prepared for MAC, and I'm sure Michael Falls will have his team ready to play MAC.
Got extra time to prepare. That being said, Master has the benefit of a bye week this week after playing Western last week. They do the double reverse, the end around. Are they going to throw it? They will. Arkarakis throws it deep. He's looking for Fracas, and they're going to get a pass interference call. They do some trickery there, and they're going to benefit with a 15-yard penalty.
Right, totally unnecessary. The coverage was there. I don't know why he thought he had to interfere with him. He's running with the quarterback, and
he's covering a quarterback here. See Arkarakis throwing on the run. It's a nice throw.
The coverage is there, but you don't have to knock him down. Just keep your eyes on the football, play the football, and knock it away.
And I think the throw is taking him out of bounds anyway. So in the end, another maybe undesirable play defensively. 15 yards, Laurier gets it up to the 50. So they're trying to show their bag of tricks. I don't know if that's something you really want to reveal at this point in the game. You got that stashed away in the back pocket. Something else for Mac to get ready for. They run the quarterback draw. A good run by Fracas as he keeps going. Before he's driven to the ground, he gets up to the 44. A nice gain there of almost 20.
Well, again, well-designed play. They took the backs and leaked them out into the flats, taking the linebackers with him, and then he runs a quarterback draw right up the middle. So good success.
Western D has been a bit sloppy here in this fourth quarter. Still up, of course, by 41. That pass is in the feet of a couple defenders, and a flag flies.
Well, if you're going to go over top of the receiver, even though it probably really wasn't pass interference from where the official was, I can't blame him at all for, pulling the flag.
So that's 2 pass interference calls on the last 3 plays for this Mustangs secondary. First down from the 39. Fracas has got 2 runners in the backfield, sends one in motion. He'll throw it. Quick throw, knocked away. Well defended by Simon Baru.
Well, better defense that time by Simon. They've run that play a number of times against him. He was able to get underneath the receiver who was trying to run that quick slant on him.
That's the 3-minute warning from TD Waterhouse Stadium. The Mustangs cruising to a victory here on a chilly Thursday night, 61-20. We'll be back with the conclusion after this.
Lone Star believes that mesquite flavor don't come in a shaker. Tortillas should never be microwaved, and pico de gallo don't come from no jar. That's why Lone Star fires their grill with real mesquite wood trucked from Texas, makes freshly baked-to-order tortillas in their own oven, and fresh chops their pico daily. Now, if that much goes into making their fajitas taste so good, imagine what goes into everything else. Lone Star, the taste is in the details.
It's payback time.
It's not so fun when you're the target of rude behavior. College athletics has many traditions, but bad sportsmanship isn't one of them. Respect. It's the name of the game.
Back at TD Waterhouse Stadium as Laurier tries to drive for a consolation score here at the end of this one. Western's dominated for the most part. Fracas gets away from the pursuit and will go for the first down. Dead in the backfield. John Bewald had him. But then Fracas takes off for the first down as Bewald just couldn't quite get him down.
No, his responsibility from that position is to make sure you contain from the outside and not let the person running back, quarterback, escape outside. He had a clean shot at him. I think he got a little bit overexcited, a little bit out of control, and good run by the quarterback.
First down, Fracas gains about 4 as he passes it to Pizzuti. Laurier driving down the field, trying to cap off an impressive fourth quarter, all things being equal here.
Absolutely. You give full credit to Wilfrid Laurier Golden Hawks.
Out east in Quebec, Bishops with a minute left in McGill, up 17-13. Fracas to the outside, similar pass play to the last one, and another gain of about 3. Down to about the 24, and that gain is complete to Chucks Okafor, who gets his first touch of the game, the second-year student out of Calgary.
Right, Western seems about 2-3 steps behind the receivers when they leak out into the flats, and they're moving the ball 5 yards a pop here. Now they're down to their 3rd down and 5 again.
3rd down and 5. Could be the last time they get the ball in the game. Fracas rolling out. Is he going to throw it? He's going to have to. He airs it out. Battle in the end zone, and it is intercepted by who else? It's Josh Woodman. His second of the game.
Well, good position on the football by Josh Woodman. The receiver was deep with him. Josh had perfect coverage, and I think Fracas just threw the ball up and hoped that, his player would come down with the ball. It wasn't like he was open, and it was sort of a prayer. Josh Woodman in position makes a great interception in the end zone.
You can see Fracas wondering if he could get the yards to gain by running. No chance. So he just put it up, a jump ball for his receiver. Woodman had great inside position. Made the play for his second interception of the game, his 5th of the season. And now, with just 2 minutes to go, and imagine it'll be runs from here on out as Huggins gets basically to the line of scrimmage. They'll use probably all of the play clock at this point.
Right, he's got Miles Ramba in the backfield with him, and he ran the zone read, gave it to Miles, pulled it back out, kept it himself, and went around the edge.
No gain on the play. To speak to the impressive nature of the Mustangs defense today, they held Dylan Campbell to 87 yards catching and only 111 yards on the ground. So he averages 202 rushing yards per game as Huggins gets the pass complete down to the 29. They held Campbell to under 200 yards total offense today.
Well, it was good, and he got some of his big chunks out of a screen and out of a draw that he executed very well to gain his yards, but it wasn't like he pounded them for yardage for sure.
Huggins with the quarterback sneak will be a first down.
Well, the second down play, Blake Huggins stood in the pocket and threw an out to Jake Frimith, the slapback, number 81, making his appearance on the field, and he makes a great catch and almost had the first down. They had a 3rd and 1, and Blake just kept the ball and got the first down.
So now Western trying to bleed as much clock as possible here. Next game, mentioned it. It's not this Saturday, that's 2 days from now, but a week from Saturday. They go to Guelph to play in the new stadium they've got there, only a couple years old. Shaquille Johnson with the rush up to the 47. And then after they play Guelph, their next and final home game of the regular season, the 25th against the Windsor Lancers right here in London.
Well, 2 important games on their schedule. It would be nice to have a bit of a break over the Thanksgiving weekend, but when these players come back, they'll have a important week to prepare to go down into Guelph. It's never easy to play down there, and Guelph will be ready to play Western for sure.
Absolutely. As they fight for positioning here. They win out, they'll likely be the number 2 seed behind McMaster. Gain of about 5 yards there on first down from Miles Rombo. So he gets some touches here late in this one.
Well, you see the depth that Western has at the running back position. They have a number of talented young players who can come in the game, carry the ball, and produce yards. Again, good job up front by the offensive line, who've done it all day long, providing holes for the running backs, giving time for the quarterback to throw the football. Very impressive game by the Western offensive line.
Another run. It's Rombo again, and Rombo gets about 3. And the third down play will likely be the final one of this game.
Right, there's 19.3 seconds, so they should probably just start the clock up, run it down, and I think Blake will kneel.
Well, now that they've announced it's a first down, that'll certainly be the case. A 61-20 victory is how it will go into the books. A thoroughly dominating effort by the Mustangs today. Laurier had chances here and there, couldn't quite capitalize. But the Mustangs' running attack was simply unstoppable tonight, Nigel.
Really was, and I just made the point about a minute ago that the offensive line took charge of the game. They were physical, and for 3 quarters, the defensive line for Western took charge on that side. I know they're not going to be happy with the 4th quarter, and that's something that they'll have to work on if this team hopes to keep getting better each week.
An impressive effort rebounding from a tough loss to McMaster. The Western Mustangs take this one 61-20 is the final score. Josh Woodman had 2 interceptions on the defensive end. Stevenson Bone, very impressive in his first career start. 19 of 25 for 285 yards and 3 touchdowns today. Also ran the ball 7 times for 86 yards and a touchdown. Definitely no nerves from him today.
An impressive performance by that young man. First time starting for Western, played predominantly the whole game until it was out of reach for Laurier. Showed he could throw the ball, showed he could run the ball, showed that he could run the offense effectively, and that's a huge boost to his teammates. When you're playing with Will Finch, Stevenson Bone stepped up to the plate, did a great job, and the whole team, certainly has to be very pleased with his performance, as I'm sure he will be.
61-20, the Mustangs win this one. We'll be back to wrap on Mustangs TV in just a bit.
Lone Star believes that tortillas should be the rodeo star, not the sideshow clown. Gotta be baked fresh, so they wrap around toppings like a warm hug from your mama. That's why Lone Star bakes those blankets of heaven in each restaurant with their own special oven. They ain't reheated in no microwave. So if that much goes into making their tortillas taste so good, imagine what goes into the rest of the fajita. Lone Star, the taste is in the details.
New improved Powerade Ion 4 replenishes fuel and 4 of the minerals lost in sweat. Powerade Ion 4 hydrates better than water. Keep sweating.
Welcome back to TD Waterhouse Stadium, the site of a dominating Mustangs victory today. Gotta say, Brian Marshall, a bit banged up coming into this one. Game time decision. 8 catches for 157 yards and a touchdown, and every time Bone threw him the ball, he went up and got it.
That's the kind of player Brian Marshall is. He gets banged up. He wants to play in the game. He's an outstanding receiver. He does make the great catch. He's reliable. He's been that way ever since he's arrived on this campus 5 years ago, and it shows his toughness and his great ability as a receiver. So good credit to him.
And Stevenson Bone, very impressive in his CIS debut, and he's with John Urban.
Thanks once again, Christian, here with Stevenson Bone, the Texas Lone Star player of the game. 3 touchdowns via the air, but it's the one on the ground that I'm key about. Take me through that running marker.
O-line set up great. It was just it was a quarterback design run to the right, and we called it, and we practiced it a lot. And it was just it was a great blocking up front. And once I saw the crease, I just tried to get in the end zone, and our teammates did the rest. And our defense really played a solid game, and they carried us through the game.
The coaching staff was a little cheeky, fair to say, with Will Finch either starting or not starting this game. How did you receive the news, and were you excited once you received it?
I was excited, definitely. But my job's the same. I prepare every week like I'm the starter, and when my number's called, you just got to go out and try to do your job, and just really one play at a time and take what the defense gives you. And I think we did that well today. Our team really battled today, and it was a big win for us.
Nigel upstairs was referring to the offensive line. Talk about how big they were for you today.
Huge. The first touchdown drive, we ran the ball every play, and they went down and scored. So it was just fantastic, and they did a tremendous job today.
280 yards plus in the game. Can you take me through one of those 3 markers, though, via the air?
Oh, yeah. Adam Sinclair was a great one. He just broke right past the defense, and I saw him, and I threw a strike to him. And at the start, George Johnson really shook the DB, and he got open as well. And it was a tremendous team effort. And Brian Marshall got wide open on that last one. So all 3 were special, and it's a tribute to those guys. It really is.
Final question for you here, Stevenson. 5 days ago, your team suffers the first loss of the regular season. It's actually the first time Western's lost here at TD Waterhouse Stadium since 2012. How big of a win is this, and what does it mean for the momentum heading on out from here?
Well, it's huge. I mean, we get the break now with Thanksgiving, and we're just going to try to still take it one game at a time, and there's a lot of good teams left that we have to play. So we definitely see our goal is in sight, and we're just going to try to get there.
Stevenson Bone, the Texas Lone Star player of the game. Congratulations.
Thanks a lot. I really appreciate it.
Have a good one.
Yeah, you too.
Guys.
Thank you, John. Stevenson being very, grateful for his team's play. Very selfless player. Giving credit where credit is due to his offensive line and his receivers for doing a good job catching the ball today.
Well, there you see up on the screen the highlight package here. He scrambles, gets outside, makes a great run down the field for that 45-yard run before his touchdown run, and it shows his athletic ability. And here he is, makes a good read. He's following some great blocking up front. There's Eddie Meredith making a great block for him, and there's Stevenson Bone getting in the end zone. Here he is throwing out here to Brian Marshall, Mr. Consistency for Western. Then he finds Adam Sinclair over the middle with the post pattern, and he's throwing strikes all the time.
And the leading rusher now, single-season all-time record holder for Laurier, is with John.
Thanks once again, Christian. Dylan Campbell, a touchdown on the day. That gives you 11 on the season. You're the CIS leader and the OUA leader. Take me through that marker.
Honestly, just wanted to get in there and try to revamp my team, try to get us going, get the motivation going. But it was a tough game today. We weren't ready for Western. Western prepared for us, so congratulations to them. We're just looking forward to the next week.
Coming into this game, you just needed 58 yards to be Laurier's all-time leading rusher in a single season. Congratulations on that marker, and what does it mean to you?
Honestly, I wasn't even thinking about the title, thinking about that at all. I was just thinking about coming here and playing our game to defeat Western. But, we didn't do our job today, so you see the score, it tells the tale.
So now you're the all-time leading rusher with the team, and you have the CIS stats to back it up. But obviously, just talking to you, I'm kind of getting the vibe that wins are the more important thing, correct?
That's exactly it, yes. We're doing our best to get the wins,
Despite the epic performance on your part, there was a few things maybe the defense here and there could have done. What do you think your team has to do forward, adjustment-wise, from here on out?
Overall, we got to step it up on all sides of the ball. Offense, defense, special teams. So we just got to do our job, get in practice, get in the weight room, and prepare for MAC.
Dylan Campbell, 11 touchdowns on the season. Congratulations on the record.
Thank you for having me.
Guys.
Thank you very much. Dylan Campbell, he was well contained on the day today. One of the many things the Mustangs did well. And that is it for today. The final here in London is 61-20 for Nigel Wilson and John Urban. My name is Christian Mell. Thank you very much for tuning in. Our next broadcast from TD Waterhouse Stadium is October 25th against the Windsor Lancers. And that'll be a 1 o'clock start. For all our crew on Mustangs TV, thanks for watching and have yourself a good night and a good Thanksgiving weekend.
Take you home, baby, let you keep me company. You give me some of you, I give you some of me. You look good, baby, must taste heavenly. I'm pretty sure that you got your own recipe. So pick it up, yeah, I like you. I just can't get enough, I gotta drive through. Cause it's me, you, me, you. All night, have it your way. For play before I feed your appetite. Let me get my ticket, baby, let me get in line. I can tell the way you like it, baby, supersize. Hold on, you got yours, let me get mine. I ain't leaving till they turn over the clothesline, check it.
Take my order, cause your body like a carry-out. Let me walk into your body till you hear me out. Turn me on, my baby, don't you? Turn me on, my baby, don't you? Take my order, cause your body like a carry-out. And let me walk into your body till it's turn me on, my baby, don't you? Turn me on, my baby, don't you? Number one, I take 2 number 3s. That's a whole lot of you and a side of me.